There are worse nicknames out there, but there are better ones too.
But possibly the best and worst one at the same time goes to Monet. Because Monet in Chinese, the way they've said it is mo nai te, which in Chinese means something grabby. Basically.
Where are we going, Jack? Where are you taking this?
Basically to cop a feel upstairs. So
that was so beautifully put. That's like when your dad's giving you the birds and the bees.
Yeah, he's also the youngest player on the team, so.
So Monet, and because I'm already on thin ice, just to clarify, his nickname is kind of copping a feel.
Yeah.
Well, I think we've learned enough. Sean, you've got a beautiful smile on your face. Do you feel like you've learned a lot today?
We're going to head over to Jack's Corner to get some insight into LFY. Hey,
that counts.
You know what the fans call him? They call him the bun.
The bun!
There was a little bit at the beginning.
And you just kept going. You know why they call him Little Boss? I was like, why, Jack? I want to know the reason why, because he's dating his boss. Just, what a corner.
Dude.
One of the best corners of the entire event.
We'll be back.
Well, we're going to just reemphasize that LFY is really, 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 really good at Dota. And I got to say, we've been talking about the Chinese players' Dota games. I think the memes out of China might be the best in the entire world.
Can we go back to the corner real quick? Or is Jack? Oh,
he's gone. No,
Jack's leaving. Oh my gosh. When is the next China versus China game?
I know. I can't wait. I mean, we're going to have Invictus versus Newbie in the winner's bracket at some point. Not today, but we need Jack back.
LGD VP.
LGD VP.
Yeah.
Jack's Corner is coming back next series.
Oh, Jack, yes, give us some insight. We need to get some of the Polish crew out here to give us the insight into VP now.
I don't know. I think the Chinese meme game is just on another level.
It's powerful. It really is.
It really is kind of depressing over here in the West.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start to like copy it and make nicknames for each other, like new ones.
Yeah, like PJ
Spice
Salt.
it up a bit.
Get real creative.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, are there any good nicknames in the West?
Officer Merlini.
That's an old one. That's from TI3.
Oh.
Oh, do you know about the story?
No.
Oh.
No.
Do we have time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Let me check. Yeah, hell yeah, we have time, Merlini. Tell us why you're Officer Merlini.
Okay, so Puppy and myself had a little scuffle back in the old days.
Don't
Probably
say.
2013.
Scuffle. That's such a mild term.
He used to be my captain. We used to play on the same team, and then I stopped playing for a bit, and then he went on to be on a very successful team with Na'Vi. However, there was this one incident. I used to do a series called Merlini's Mailbag, and people would mail me questions about whatever.
What, like physically mail you?
No, email.
Okay.
Email. Come on.
Right. Okay.
They would email me questions about things that they thought were interesting. I would sift through maybe 25 to 30 a week. And there was one particularly interesting one. It's like, oh, there was a series in between Na'Vi and I forget the other team. And there was this particular moment in the game where... Oh, interrupted by the horn. Okay, I'll try and finish. Come on. So there was a particular moment in the game where Puppy had paused the game and then the outcome of the fight had changed what I thought was just completely changed.
Like the puppy pause.
The puppy pause. It was
Tactical
infamous
pause.
puppy pause. And there was like a Nyx that was invis, and he knew that he was invis, so he kept pinging on them, except Havos wasn't responding. So then everything just changed. There was like a blink, there was like a force staff, there was a lasso, there was just like a sentry ward popped down all in a matter of a second. And then he claimed that Havos had mouse issues, and I claimed that they had kind of seen what was going on and kind of altered their play a little bit. So
That was a very nice way of putting it. You accused them of cheating, right?
yes. And he,
Like a true officer.
and then when he Skype messaged me, he was like, you know, I would never do something like that. And then I'm like, dude, I'm just calling out what I see. Like, I know you as a person, but
And how did Officer emerge out of that?
I don't know. That was
Puppy broke the law, the Dota law.
There it is. Officer Merlini will be in charge. We shall not step out of line. The horn has sounded. We now know that our very first best of three is about to get underway. Let's introduce our first team, LFY. LFY, a team who previously may have been overshadowed by its parent LGD, but here is coming out as the #1 in group stages. 14-2, only shedding a handful of matches. Going up against them is a team that has recently had some roster changes and is back in winners. It is TNC. Of course, TNC made an extraordinary run in the lower bracket of last TI, just winning game after game against heavy favorites. And here they are in the winner's bracket going up against LFY. They were in the same group during group stages, so it will be interesting to see how they match up. And if 1437 can manage to help swing favor to their side. Getting a chance to catch up with him, we got Casey.
The last time you were at TI as a player was TI4, but you've been to several as a coach. So how does it feel kind of coming into TI7 knowing that you're back to playing on the main stage?
It's really surprising because just a couple months ago, I thought that I wouldn't even attempt to play at TI. And just to have this opportunity is a true blessing.
I have to ask about what's happened in the last year or so. What brought you to an SCA team as opposed to going back to a Western team? We've had a lot of changes with you since the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I was playing on team Cloud9 or NP from the start of the year. We were all like dedicated to playing together throughout the entire year and competing at TI7 together. But there were some changes that happened there, and I was left without a team. And all of a sudden, TNC approached me.
As far as being a coach versus playing, I mean, your resume is incredible. Not a lot of people can say that they've done both or that they've gone to coaching and come back to play. And you've done that. You coached Team Secret in 2015. You left coaching to play again. You went back to Team Secret as a coach. And then, as you mentioned, you formed Team NP, which is now Cloud9. What are the things that you love about coaching versus playing? And what are the things that you missed about playing that brought you back?
When you're coaching, you are like this outside point of view. You can really see the bigger picture. You can see more strategies, perhaps, because there's less emotions and there's less stress about like your own performance involved. So when I was coaching, I was learning faster and I was able to teach. In that sense, my Dota knowledge improved at a much faster rate when I was coaching. But playing is like, it's very thrilling. You feel much different. There's a lot more pressure involved, and sometimes that can be really fun.
Do you think coaching made you a better player?
For sure, without a doubt.
We touched on it, but I want to go back to what happened. I mean, you were part of the group that formed NP, which is now Cloud9. So that means you were really part of it from the ground up. So when you're able to kind of get in on that way, to then have to leave the team or decide to leave the team or be forced to leave the team is really, really tough. Yeah. So what did you go through when that happened?
It was a really tough time because we had just finished a tournament. It was a DAC. We were doing well in the groups, and then there was some things that went wrong, and then we ended up still last place. And then all of a sudden we had a meeting and they're like, oh yeah, you two are removed from the team. And it wasn't really any good explanations or anything like that. It was just like, okay, you're just out. And for me, it was a shock because I don't like to give up with my teammates or anything like that. I always want to figure out how to make it work, because I think it's important. Over time, you will create a lot of strategies, and at TI, the most important thing is that your experience throughout the year that you're going to bring to the event. So after that, I really wasn't sure what I was going to do from there. It was a very tough time for sure.
What if you were to face like it comes down to the wire? It's you versus Cloud9.
Okay.
How do you hone in, like, because that's got to bring up a little bit of emotional competitiveness.
Yeah, it will. But at the same time, I also understand them in some ways too, because they have like 3 players that I played with. and one of them I've even coached, so I understand a little bit about them, whereas for my team they would only understand how I am. So maybe I have a little bit of advantage there, at least there. But yeah, it'll definitely be an emotional thing to get over, but we're professionals, so we really need to just understand that and just move on.
And will TNC get that opportunity here in this winner's match, best of 3? 1437 making the big career move to help support TNC. And on the other side, we have from LFY, Casey got the chance to catch up with the captain in Flame.
First question is a very simple one. How did you come to join LFY?
老干爹的经理找到了我，然后当时他们队少3后卫，然后刚好我那段时间想进一步的提升自己吧，就来了。
You and Afu came on board in May. How do you think that transformed the team the way that it needed to be heading into Epicenter?
我觉得，加上我们2个的话，会就我们几个人的性格啊、游戏打法、对游戏的理解，然后都会比较的相对的协调吧。就大家都会游戏风格比较类似，然后沟通起来很顺畅。我们平常的交流啊，然后感觉在一起比较放松吧，就大家就很简单的、自然的就打得会比之前大家各在各的队伍打得会好很多。
Were there any big takeaways from Epicenter that might help you as you look ahead to TI as far as the biggest differences in style between Chinese Dota and Western Dota, if any changes?
就感觉我们的阵容啊搭配比较单一吧，然后我们会吸取每个队的打法风格啊，然后再加上我们个人的选手的习惯啊，会有更多的打法和应对不同的队伍的风格。
Are there other teams here that you're most looking forward to going up against, or any other teams that you have your eye on?
我们在 TI7应该是最想战胜 Liquid 的吧，因为我们之前训练和比赛对他们的胜率其实是比较低的，我比较想战胜他们。
How would that feel to beat them on the TI stage?
应该算是一个比较惊喜的事情吧，因为我们其实算输给他们挺多次了，就不算比赛在训练啊。就我们队是一个比较少争执的队伍，但是可能每次因为跟他们训练，我们都会有很多的争执。
You did an interview with Cybersport and you said that your team plays easily together. Why do you think that is, and why do you think that's been so important in your success?
我待过很多的战队，在 LFI 的话是，我们大家都会比较的就能沟通吧，就大家如果有谁犯了错啊，我们会一起讨论啊，怎么样？然后我们大家都会比较虚心的接受队友的建议啊，然后我们大家一起进步，就会不会让气氛很尴尬的那种，就是大家觉得一个人很厉害，然后都要听他的。
So someone told me that you changed your name in honor of the name of an upcoming book of a Chinese martial arts series. I'm curious about that and whether you draw inspiration from the entertainment, anime, comics world at all.
我觉得会的吧，就一个人性格总是会有很多的，就周围你根据你的经历啊，会影响挺多事情的。就比如我之前我在eHome的时候就比较单纯的，然后比较激进的吧，算是性格比较就单纯的就想打 Dota 赢啊，就很简单。现在会不给自己太多的压力啊，不想影响自己，然后感觉现在是比较沉稳吧。
Interesting interviews from both of the players, especially like how Inflame talks about trying to improve his mentality as time is going on. Of course, 1437, trying to cope with all the shifts.
That was an impressive interview. I don't know how you guys felt about that, but he seems like a really, really bright kid or guy. I don't know how old he is,
Just
but
seems very well spoken.
Very aware of himself and what he's doing here and the opportunities that he has in front of him. Very collected. He's I like this team more and more.
Yeah, I love when he said, we're trying, or that we're able to play easily together, because I feel like big moments in Dota are decided in quarter seconds, half seconds, and the ability for a team to coordinate in that sort of environment is just remarkable, and it's so important to succeed. So let's get ready for game one between LFY and TNC.
LFY versus TNC Pro Team. Game one.
And the least surprising bans of the tournament. We got Nyx and Batrider out for LFY. We got Lich and Earthshaker out for TNC.
Yeah, before we get too far into the draft, I wanted to bring up a little bit about 1437 talked about in his interview. Like Casey was trying to egg him on about the C9 thing, but they've already placed better than C9, and they're still in the winner's bracket.
And he's also had quite an amazing journey. Like these past years, after Tier 2, we actually went to China to play on a team there. And
he's not afraid to take charge and put his fate in his own hands, and it's working out really well for him here.
And that together with having the journey with Secret to coach them, I think he learned a lot, and it's really what TNC needed.
That was an interesting comment that he made, that he felt like he was able to learn at a faster rate as a coach without the pressure of having to play so much.
So, I mean, Bulba talked about that a little bit as well, learning from the time he spent coaching on a couple different rosters. It's, you know, when you don't always have the opportunity to play at these major tournaments, but you want to be involved. There's a lot to learn here.
I also think that just trying to force yourself to be able to articulate what you think about a certain strategies can often reveal where there's inconsistencies or issues or problems, or just highlight what's good about something that someone's already doing.
Yeah, let's do exactly that as we get into this draft.
Yeah.
I saw that Monet had played like almost a different carry every game. So that kind of makes sense with them revolving the draft around Super, that they really want to make sure that Super has a good hero.
Look at this Jakiro.
First Jakiro, main stage.
Constant flight mode.
1437 hero, Jakiro. He really loves to play that hero.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all. I think it works well. It gives, you know, it synergizes decently well with Naga Sleep.
It's good setup here.
It gives them, he's one of the supports that gives you some tower push along with Rasta, and sometimes you can see a support Pugna, which will give you an ability to force towers, force your opponents to fight you, which is exactly what you want to do against Night Stalker. Kind of just want to ball up and take these massive team fights.
You were ragging on Carry Naga yesterday. I think TNC is the only other team that runs it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's good here?
I doubt it. I think they just want to group up, and Naga Siren will buy some mana boots, spam out some illusions, maybe get some solid nets, and just be there ready with the sleep, build a mech. Jakiro will probably go for the pipe, and they'll look to end this game decently early or take enough of an advantage to secure a late game win.
Nature's Prophet's second pick for LFY. Night Stalker, of course, great at giving vision. Not too impactful in late game team fights. Nature's Prophet kind of has some of the same issues. Great at split pushing, great at summoning 6 tree ants.
Nature's Prophet is it's not a hero that's usually picked in the first two, but here they see that they have Jakiro, and he's not really good at handling the tree ants and catching the Prophet, so it's a good matchup for him in the lane.
Also not good at getting tower dove, too. They definitely have that potential with Night Stalker, Nature's Prophet. And Flame Out also has one of the strangest hero pools. It's like Elder Titan, Zeus, Nature's Prophet, Doom.
These are the best heroes in the game!
But no one else plays them.
Yeah, I'd be a little careful about saying that Nature's Prophet doesn't scale very well. I think he's one of the better late game heroes. He always finds farm and split push. You can split push all over the place very, very easily, either with his treants, you know, teleporting to a lane and summoning those, or just casting his ultimate on the map can help push out the lanes. He also provides your team a decent amount of vision with all the treants that you can spread them out individually if your micro is good enough, and spread them out throughout the map.
Also just so fun with early game ganks, and LFY did beautiful things with Nature's Prophet ganks before 15-20 minutes in group stages. He was one of their linchpin heroes in a variety of matchups to help them close out immediately.
It's very easy for him to port in, sprout somebody, secure a kill, summon treants, and start pushing that tower.
And it really fits well with NS as well, because NS during the night is going to scout, and he's going to find a kill, and then Prophet is going to be there to be able to TP in and help him to get the kill.
So we have a Death Prophet and a Weaver ban from TNC. I'm not exactly sure what that is telling. Maybe they... Weaver ban. Huh.
Death Prophet makes sense, at least. It's a hero that Super has been playing a lot, and it is very good with Prophet for some more tower push.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they still have the DK, but...
Sand King, okay. Probably their offlane hero, I would imagine, unless they do decide to do some sort of core Naga.
You know, I'm just noticing that as we've been talking about other teams, we spend a lot of time talking about some of the key star players and building around them, but LFY, you know, continuously it's been about how the team is functioning as a whole, as a unit.
I think you look at Monet, who's been playing all the different carries, right? He's probably the standout player on the team. Super's one of the least flashy mids in this tournament, but he's been getting the job done consistently.
Off of
been pretty flashy too. He's been consistently really good on the roaming heroes, Shaker or Spirit.
Okay, picking up the Dazzle. I like the Sand King, I think, was kind of set up to lane up against the Nature's Prophet, perhaps. The Caustic Finale will allow Sand King to have a pretty good time in that lane, especially if he buys a Poor Man's Shield to start, to help him reduce some of that right-click harass damage that Furion's capable of.
Ooh, Razor.
And a Razor. Wow.
They want to be able to fight because they probably understand that LFY really wants to commit to the push here with both Dazzle now and Prophet. So,
yeah, when are the big strengths for Razor?
He's usually good against a melee carry that the opponents have, because then he needs to go in, but Razor makes him like kind of want to go out to drop the static.
Like one of the
what's called the
static link.
Static link.
One of the heroes that he's best against is like Lifesteal. Lifesteal rages in, runs in, you just static link, and Lifestealer has to run away.
I think static link is the hardest to break ability in the entire game. I don't even think like
it's
Astral Imprisonment breaks it.
Yeah, it's like very long now.
This is a weird pick for me. I don't really like this early Razor without seeing more cores from LFY. I think this, like Terrorblade, for example, Razor has not a lot of AoE damage. He's going to have a really tough time dealing with these illusions, and if he decides to run into the middle of a fight and start linking Terrorblade, he's probably just going to get killed.
Terrorblade is also just an excellent carry for pushing, and Dazzle has just a great synergy with Terrorblade.
Yeah.
Using the Shallow Grave to keep Terrorblade at 1 health so he can use his health exchange ultimate, Sunder.
Absolutely. You're crushing it right now.
I know, you said it yesterday, and I'm repeating it now.
Yeah, now the Razor seems
Day 2.
I'm the strongest parrot of all time.
You're learning.
Best parrot, NA.
Alright, let's go. Medusa ban, that's another superhero gone. Let's see, what does Super have left in his pool?
DK.
Dragonite. Dragonite's still in the pool, huh?
I mean, Dragon Knight...
Oh, this is a block pick on Dragonite. That's what Razor's doing here.
Yeah. But they can just pick around it, right? I guess
sure.
They banned out 2 of the 3, Death Prophet and Medusa. They don't have to pick DK at all.
Could do the Super Pugna. He also played Omni Knight in a game. I think that would be very unlikely, though. Pugna, perhaps.
So, I mean, at this point with LFY, we see just a lot of very strong push potential. We see Dazzle there to help enhance the push with the Shallow Grave. Night Stalker, of course, there to get great vision, to get ganks, to set those sort of things up. What is the type of hero that LFY needs? We've talked about some of the specific heroes Super's good on, but what is the team missing?
They're lacking team fight, definitely. Night Stalker, Nature's Prophet, Dazzle, and Terrorblade all provide your team very little to none, or to no team fight.
A lot of single target damage, yeah.
Yes, lots of single target damage. TNC's got a bunch of team fight with their first 3 heroes here. So any kind of 5-on-5 clash where they're on equal kind of net worths and experience, I would favor TNC. And they'll be able to set up all these fights too, to make sure they always have good fights with the Naga Sleep.
It was just fascinating to watch LFY play, because in a lot of their compositions,
There's been a couple times where I wasn't a big fan of LFY's draft, but they just outskilled their opponents
so quickly. It's almost like some of the matchups didn't even matter once you got to the 10-minute mark, because they were 5-10K ahead.
Puck, maybe? Yeah. Whew. Haven't seen Super play this hero too much. He's not really his style. Puck's a little flashy for Super, but I'm sure he's capable of it. And I think it's a really great pick here. That silence is going to be super clutch against all 3 of these first heroes, and he struggles a little bit versus Razor in lane, don't you think, Ben?
Yes.
But Super has like almost always lost his lane this tournament, so they'll just I'm sure Afu on the Night Stalker when he's roaming around, he'll just ignore mid and be like, Super, you got this, man. You'll figure it out.
Do any of Puck's abilities break static link?
Just if you
John's out.
if you push yourself away with the whatever it's called. John?
Ethereal Orb in the John.
Ethereal Orb, right.
But Phase Shift does not break.
And last pick, Alchemist. All right. Definitely could farm a lot of the map, and he can be the frontliner for them.
As well. And they have set up with the Sleeper if they actually want to like fight them to set up into the epicenter from Sanctum and Twin.
I think LFY can break the jungle, though. That's important against an Alchemist. They have Night Stalker and Furion and Puck to be very mobile on the map, and they can go find this Alchemist and potentially keep him underfarmed.
I mean, once again, it may turn out to be a matchup centered around the Alchemist. Can he go off and get to 30k net worth early? Or will LFY be able to push early and shut Alchemist down? It's time to head into Game 1 of Series 1 of Day 2 here at the International.
Thank you very much, Day 9. And indeed, the first series of Day 2, LFY versus TNC. I'm Eddie Pixel, I'm here with Fogged. Fogged, what are we thinking coming into this one?
I'm pretty excited. I'm really glad they brought up that point about the invading the jungle, like Peter said. That's the one thing about Alchemist. And LFY that's their specialty, as far as I see. They are very about their lanes, and then they kind of crush them, and they invade the enemy jungle, and they pretty much steamroll after that after taking all the early tier 1s. So that's what I'm looking at for them to do. Look at Afu playing around Inflame in that offlane, because I've seen this Nature's Prophet plus melee.
Yes, when they add
I've seen what they do in that, and they dismantle majority of those dual or tri lanes. So we'll see how they're able to pull it off. But I'm pretty excited for this match coming up. Except for the fact that it looks on paper, we see an Alkin and Naga on TNC, and we're like, ew, because these two heroes sometimes just bring bad taste to the mouth. But they've been changed up, and it's of course the support Naga, so it is a different kind of utilization.
Yeah. And during the draft, I believe it was when the Terrorblade was picked up, you didn't seem too keen on that pick?
Oh no, I like the Terrorblade.
You like the Terrorblade?
The Razor, when it comes up, when you don't have a direct counter against it, when you pick it like that, it's like that flex pick. So they were picking it just to dissuade LFY from picking the DK for Super. Just to have, hey, we have a Razor, and then they switch it. They don't actually put the Razor in the mid lane, they put it in the safe lane. So they had that little bit of mind game going for them, which is great. And right off the bat, they actually find themselves a D-ward. They're already expecting, they understand how LFY likes to play. They know that they want to block the pull camp, they want to put a lot of pressure onto the enemy safe lane, and just constantly run at that. So if they at least are able to alleviate that they can pull, it's extremely important for them to be able to get that experience and maximize. We do see a smoke actually coming out from TMC.
We'll see if they get any traction with it. Looks like the line's to be drawn to head all the way down bottom and look to invade LFY's jungle.
They're doing aggro, like Peter was mentioning. They want to have the Sanking versus Nature's Prophet matchup. And it can actually shut down the Terrorblade quite decently. And it's probably pretty unexpected. They scouted out the tri-lane top and then the smoke happens. So it's TNC trying to get that unexpected lane favoring.
And is this a lane favoring that's good enough for TNC that LFY may then react to it and switch their lanes back up so they don't find themselves in these, as you say, unfavorable lane matchups?
Yeah, probably. It depends on how much they can get the pulls off. That's the one thing, is that LFY does have both pulls open if they do want to be able to do that and be able to keep the lane back. They just have to not get killed level 1 and then not get steamrolled, because if the Terrorblade gets shut down super hard, they have a very weird way of getting back into the game of actually pushing and sieging. Nature's Prophet can have a pretty good time, but he's versus Sanking, which is an okay matchup as long as Sanking.
Looks like Raven got a pretty solid lockdown on this bottom lane, which is going to mean that Monet's rather far forward. They look to lead in with the Stallion Link. Do they have the control with the slow from 1437? This is looking pretty good. DDC is there. He's yet to skill. Will save the point for the Shadow Grave. Very smartly done there by DDC. Waits until the last possible moment before knowing which skill is required and will save the Terrorblade's life.
So Apple right away does make the move down bottom, and they start already stacking the pole. They know what they need to accomplish in this lane. They need to out-resource them. And once they get a couple levels on their heroes, they're actually extremely strong, especially if this Jakiro gets out of position. He's very slow, 290 movement speed. It's all up to Tim's pretty much just standing in the front line and zoning them. So, if they can, also the thing is that they're low on regen is the problem for LFY, but they do have a Dazzle. So as long as they're able to conserve their regen, they can match up decently versus TNC. But TNC does have a lot of regen between their heroes.
looking for Tim's here, DDC, keeping him at bay, Monet and Arthur, as you say, in the neighborhood. The thing is you're mentioning, these two side lanes definitely seem to have strengths for TNC, but this mid lane, if Cuckoo doesn't get any help, this could become a bit tricky, couldn't it, for him in this 1v1 against the Puck?
Definitely. Puck is to heavily harass his
Hold
bottom.
that thought, though, because bottom lane, DDC's gone on by TNC, and they'll pick up the first blood just like that.
As soon as
Arthur and Monet unable to do anything.
Tim gets level 2, the net comes out. Easy grab on anybody who's on the side. That's the important thing when you're playing versus these tri versus tri lanes. You have to watch your positioning of staying in the lane. If you're going to do pulls, that's okay as long as you have somebody kind of guarding you for the pull. But for the most part, you can't get caught on the side there because it's just pretty easy picks.
And you see as well, this mid lane CS looking very good at the moment.
Super.
He is going to jump forward for this, puts the point into the waning rift. It's not going to be quite enough burst. In fact,
the acid spray.
Turn around, man, and up a super. Oh no! Oh no, super! Maybe should have stuck to playing Dragon Knight, but that is not how you want to start that mid lane matchup.
There's a TP coming in from
They're going to try and find something in return, indeed. They are looking for Cuckoo. He has got that poor man's shield. We'll see if it's going to be enough. He does need the proc.
The courier's coming. He's got a salve on it. Salve's up.
He's going to keep himself alive. Goes for the deny. Cuckoo is loving the mid lane. He is smiling all over. And in fact, bottom lane, some positive action as well for TNC. They're moving in onto Monet. Does have the backup from DDC. That will be enough to hold TNC back. TNC here off to quite a start, making a big impact here on the main stage.
One thing is, though, he does get the salve delivered, he uses it, though, and then dies. And dying to Ancients, dying to neutrals, you're dead for 24 seconds as a mid laner. That's actually pretty devastating, because now Super pulls way ahead in the last hits and is actually acquiring more net worth. So you don't want to give the kill, but at the same time, it hurts a lot to die to neutrals like that this early on as a mid laner. He's back now, though, and he's going to continue that acid spray spam.
Absolutely, yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, Super CS still off the charge. You know, he's farming like an absolute beast. 21-11. So despite that death, Super definitely still maintaining the lead here in this mid matchup.
Afu probably wants to get a couple more levels before he makes that move. It's also going to be nighttime soon. I think he wants ideally level 3 so he can decide if he can save a point in Crippling Fear. It can be very useful to kill the Sand King and the Alchemist early on. And they're actually just switching lanes. They decide, this aggro Trident is too much. They need their Terror Blade to have something, and put him top. Not the greatest matchup, though, versus a Sand King who's already level 4. But there's no Caustic actually skilled on Sam H, which is a bit surprising versus the Nature's Prophet trains. But Inflame is one of the best at playing Nature's Prophet in the laning phase, so if you understood why he was dissuaded from doing that. Cuckoo now, just goes to the jungle. It's too much threat. Once Puck gets like level 4 or 5, there's too much damage coming out and too much threat of the Nature's Prophet TPing behind you. So he just has to resort to that.
It's bottom lane, Inflame does have the phase boost, giving Raven quite a bit of a punch. Arfu looking for the chase down. Raven quick to cut himself out of the Sprout. Will be fine now. The reaction from TNC, 1437's there, as well as Tim's from the Invis. Jumps forward with the root turn, with the static link. And TNC, they're looking for Arfu. There's no DDC in the neighborhood, so there's no save for the Night Stalker. And a third kill is picked up by TNC.
Very strong aggro tri-lane. So much slow and control, and the damage comes all from that Razor, who already has phase boots, so they have the chase as well now. And this is where Afu maybe wants to make moves elsewhere. Actually smokes up, starting to commit maybe toward that mid lane, it looks like. He puts a ward to watch the movements of where the Naga's going.
Cuckoo's very low.
Very susceptible to death here. The
Only one
coming
tango
out,
left. They can certainly look to die for this, and indeed they will. He has the infused raindrop. It's not enough to save him. LFY.
They TP for the
opportunity. They may just get this as well. I'm going to look to try and juke it across the tree line, but Arfu with the flying vision gives it to Super. So Super has that vision to make the connection.
Damn, I didn't think that they were actually going to commit so hard for the courier, but with the Hunter and the Knight making it so much easier to see it, even though it is sprinted up.
Still, definitely the biggest issue for LFY being that Monet's start has not been great at all because of this aggression from TNC. Still lacking behind in CS. Levels as well. They're not quite there.
Top, though.
And now they're looking for a fight. Yeah, with the Metamorphosis and the Poison Touch connecting, they'll go in. They'll take one. Sam H tries to hold them back with the Burrow Strike and the Sandstorm. Not enough to get a kill in return, but we'll push them back. But still, this is perfect. You know, LFY, they need to find Monet involved in as much action as they can to kind of bring him back from this very, very slow early 5 minutes from LFY.
It's a catapult wave right now, too. Bottom lane, Inflame, getting committed on. Should be just fine. TP out after the net. So catapult waves coming in. Metamorphosis was used, but Sam H is able to just Sandstorm and push out top. Bottom lane, maybe TNC is able to put some tower pressure here, which could be very nice for them being able to. Both teams, they want to be able to get those early tier 1s to get the access points into jungle versus this Alchemist and Terror Blade. Those invasions are super important versus those two heroes in particular. Mid lane, 1437, takes a step too far up.
Straight away with the Dream Core down, Arfu and Super going to work, bringing down an up. I mean, yeah, Super, you know, as much as we made joke, he is doing amazing. Is it 42 CS, our highest farm on the board? He is definitely going to be the real threat. If they can start to utilize this puck, getting moving around, using the Dream Coil to enable Monet to do work in the fights for the Metamorphosis, it's going to get crazy. And in fact, already 40-37 getting jumped on again. The Nature's Wrap flies through. And LFY, they pick up another kill in the mid lane.
But Super now getting caught out of the side. Actually, John's on the high ground into a trap, but he's got his orb out.
Down to the low ground. Raven's going to see if he can try and chase him. Cuckoo is there with the wraparound. Will block him off. And look, he's trying to... Oh, you know, I thought he was going to give the kill to Raven. But he says, I'll take him myself. And does beat down upon Super, so they will catch him. At the same time, Monet and DDC looking towards Sam H. He's got the stick charges, does have the Burrow Strike. They were thinking about bringing in Inflame as well, but as soon as those charges came out, they knew they couldn't go for it.
Very high level, level 7 already. Lots of, he's 7.4 HP per second as well. Hard kill to get with that max Sandstorm too. But they almost claim mid tower, so this is a little bit of a change up that we usually see from LFY. They're playing a lot around Super, which they have to do right now because the other lane got shut down so hard. It's pretty much up to Super and Inflame to get Monet back into this one.
Yes, they've got to somehow enable the recovery for this lane.
Every time Coil's up.
Super being so proactive with the help of Arfu and Inflame, just jumping in, joining him, and there's nowhere to roam with these Druids in the way. They will have the Sand King TPing in. Sam H may find Arfu in return with the Sandstorm. Because of his skill build, it's doing a lot of damage at this stage of the game. Takes down one in return. But still, nonetheless, it is this Alchemist now getting heavily punished by LFY. This pressure in the mid lanes, giving space to Monet up on top.
Sam H, another kill he's going to get maybe? Oh, so close.
That sign of saving the life of both of them. Super does have the invis, was thinking about going back in there, but as you say, this level 8 Sand King, very, very scary for LFY.
LFY is making a lot of space around the map though. They're forcing aggression, they're forcing rotations, which gives Monet a lot of space. Up top, wailing on that top tier 1 tower, TNC also trading bottom. So they're like we said, they need to have some way to kind of get Monet back to the game, and there's two ways of doing that. You either get him involved in fights and you play around him, or you make space elsewhere on the map. And right now he's still a bit too under level to play around him.
Sam H back up top, and Monet is backed up by DDC at the moment, so we'll be fine. Looks like Super as well did pick obviously the node tallies up for the lane, but not going for the Veil, maybe saving straight for that wing drag of this game. Top lane, Sam H coming in with the Burrow Strike. Monet is there, looking for the turnaround. Inflame comes in with the TP. No Burrow Strike for Sam H for 5 seconds. We're trying to get himself out, but again, yeah, these Treant blocks causing a huge issue for Sam H. He does have the stick charge. We'll let the Burrow Strike back up, and that's enough. He's out of it. Sam with the plays. Bottom lane, Raven diving in deep. Steals a hefty chunk of damage from Arfu. Arfu will get himself back to safety.
Raven might be in some trouble here. Super's got Coil. He's got him isolated, but...
He's a little scared, though, of Raven having that stolen damage.
Yeah, don't think they have TP follow-up. I think Inflames is still on cooldown for 10 more seconds.
5 for 5. Very close showing for both of these teams in the early 10 minutes. TNC with the slight edge, but as expected, with having the Alchemist on their side.
Yeah. And running a very unexpected aggro tri-lane, which worked incredibly well. So something I always like talking about is the levels. Of course, after aggro tri-lanes, we take a look, and it's pretty well dispersed. The 4 and 5 on the Naga and Jakiro, and 4 and 6 actually on LFY. So Afu is level 6 on Nightstalker, almost level 7 actually. But now they're looking to try to make aggression on him bottom, diving the tier 2.
Yeah, they're ready to go. Out comes the root. 14-37, following through with the slow. There will be TP reactions from LFY. They turn towards Tims. Will get taken down here by Inflame on the back lines. LFY, maybe see if they can chase down for more. Raven has the ultimate
really
out.
Wants to try here.
He does have that Dream Coil if he can close the gap.
They're really the Nightstalker is very fast with those phase boots. They might be able to catch up to him eventually. They do see him going into the tree line as well. They should be able
very
to
hard for him to get out. Yeah, they've got the vision. Dream Coil's down. He will break the coil on an attempt to escape. 40-37 is there with the slows. Does still have the ultimate up for a couple of seconds there, Raven. And backup is on his way. LFY may now be turned around upon. Joe Forth and Super does get the two-man silence, trying to bring down the Sand King, but Sam H still gets the time for the Burrow Strike. The Graves there for DDC though. Super survives. Sam H down. Raven will chase down Super. Goes for the jump and gets it. Super's out of there.
That Grave. Perfect DDC. Timing by DDC.
I mean, we saw it time and time again in the group stages. Arfu as well with the Duke and TP out of the tree line gets himself back to safety.
And again, they force a ton of reaction toward the bottom lane, which frees up a lot for Monet to get that farm. Still not really completely recovered yet. They don't kill the Razor. They get a Sand King though, at least, and lose nobody. It was actually Afu was holding the Void there because he didn't want the Razor to just TP out right after the call and use Void. So it actually ends up getting a lot closer to their tower, but he had to do so. And it's really important that they're carrying Reveal on the Night Stalker and the Dazzle, because in that situation, he puts down the Sentry instantly as soon as he sees Sanking. Sanking goes into the Sandstorm, but yeah, they clean him up.
DGC's Dazzle, definitely something the TNC, they've got to be aware of it in these fights. Somehow they have to stop this man from getting in position for these Graves and such. Because as we've seen, it's impossible for TNC to find the trades when DDC is in the neighborhood. And already LFY now off the back of that favorable trade down bottom, immediately moving to the top lane.
Yep.
Sam H in the neighborhood, 1400 towards the Blink Dagger at the moment, and Super still under the cover of the smoke. Will look towards him.
Sam H.
Little late with the Dream Core there. Sam H with the game sense. Burrow striking straight away up to the tier 1, and that, by the looks of it, is going to put off LFY from looking for anything more there. So nice awareness there from Sam.
Yeah, we're talking about the Monet beginning to recover, slowly but surely, of course, but his Alchemist, almost level 12, actually level 12 now, and
look at the money.
Almost getting online for Radiance.
So they've come back, they are hunting for Sam H, but again, using these burrow strikes to just create the distance between them. And it makes it very hard for LFY to get anything done. And indeed, with this time, as you say, Cuckoo closing in on the Relic, bottom lane, TNC getting some pressure on a tier 2. LFY, they really want to catch this Sam H, but again, he just burrow strikes away. Arfu will look to try and chase him down by the looks of it. They are TPing in to block him off as well. In Flames there, and this time, they will finally bring him down. But essentially, that is Sam H creating a lot of space. Bottom lane, tier 2, down to less than half health. And what's the money looking like on Cuckoo? He's 100 or so away from the Relic.
Yeah.
And they're going to get this tier 2 by the looks of it down bottom.
So LFY's trying to punish as much as they can, because they're like, oh, Alchemist is just farming this whole time. We have to make as much happen with these R4 4v4. But at the same time, TNC's getting some very favorable trades coming out here. Absolutely. Now they have a lot of access points into the enemy jungle. They put some very nice aggressive wards down too. So they're able to watch wherever Monet is farming. Monet actually able to start cleaning up an Ancient stack, which is going to really start accelerating him.
Yeah, there's only a few hundred now behind Raven. TNC's carry, so that laning stage starting to, its effects at least being reverted, but definitely overall the fact that Cuckoo and his Alchemist exactly where he would hope to be at this stage.
Yeah, 1437 is playing the Jakiro as he normally does. He just throws down his Macro Pyre on a wave, just pushes it out as much as possible, meets up with his team, throws some Liquid Fire. Doesn't really care if he gets killed in a lot of those situations, because he's doing his job. He's just making sure that the lanes are forced out, and it's really hard for LFY to do those invasions. They talked about it on the panel that LFY has a good team to actually be able to invade, but not when these kind of situations happen. And Radiance is going to be online in 150 gold, so he pretty much has it. So I'd like to see TNC definitely smoke up as soon as that Radiance gets online, so them to just make plays around the Alchemist, because it's pretty hard to bring him down at this point.
And I guess that's the thing as well. Once this Alchemist gets his Radiance Manta Octarine, there's not too many great ways for LFY to deal with sort of that Radiance illusion push, is it?
Not really, no. They need their Terrorblade to be big to deal with that. Or their Nature's Prophet, of course, who is farming very well.
Down bottom, the Ruin Super, but he will be able to jump out, of course. Same time, Cuckoo being backed up by 1437. There is the Radiance now completed. Top lane, Monet out into the trees, TPing himself away. Mid lane, Arfu making a bit of a go here onto Cuckoo. And it's
got the
down
silence
low.
rage.
The Armlet's still there though, and of course with Armlet toggling at his capability, there's no chance that Arfu can dive this low. Definitely 15 minutes in, TNC turning up here on the main stage against LFY, this absolutely terrifying team in the group stages.
They've got Blink now on Sanking. Hood already picked up on the Razor. They're looking at LFY's lineup and they're like, yeah, they're majority magic damage until the Terrorblade and Nature's Prophet get a couple items. So it's good itemization by Raven.
Oh, look at the D ward here, TNC unblocking their camps from LFY's warding, and LFY, though they know that 1437 was there with the D ward from the low ground, will find him in the tree line, bring down the Chikira.
It's bound to happen at some point when they're splitting up so much on the map. Like Razor's showing bottom, Sanking's showing top, Alchemist is still jungling. They're not 100% aware that the Alchemist is jungling, but they probably have good reason to believe so. So every time they see someone else, like if they show, that's like one of the big rules of Dota. If you show in all three lanes, one of you is bound to die.
Raven, it's okay, he's feeling safe. The static link will be broken straight away, but nonetheless enough to stop LFY chasing him down.
No TP. TP cooldown was still there for Inflame. If the nighttime was still lasting maybe a bit longer, or if they had that TP cooldown with Darkness, they maybe could have committed for it, but they wanted to just relax since that was not up just yet. Samh continuing that pressure top.
Ooh, cool some TP reactions, but he's straight up with the blink into the trees and nothing there to hold him back.
They're just shoving lanes in constantly. TNC, the Samh has literally just been parked top, Sand Stun into Sandstorm over and over again to force the lane out.
I mean, he's just making so much space across this map. And DDC, chased down by Raven. Monet is there. Will pop the Metamorphosis for this one, but immediately just held back. He's going to try and chase down Raven, see if they can get this Razor kill. But Samh is there on the high ground, does have Epi and Blink if he wants to try and turn back into this. Dream Cold drop down only onto Raven.
He gets silenced right away.
Nicely done there from Arfu, making sure that there's no return play coming in from Samh. They've also managed to sprout Sims up on the sideline. He does still have the song. Not going to bother popping it by the looks of it, as he accepts his fate. That is the Naga Siren down. Now, TP was still on cooldown for the Naga, so even with the song usage, was almost certainly dead anyway. So deciding to save it for potentially another hold here back at the base.
LFY forced him to split in two different ways, so Naga got isolated a bit by the Dazzle who threw Weave on him, and Nature's Prophet just chasing him down right-clicking, while the Night Stalker and everyone else chased through the river. So it's just really good play by LFY, but also TNC maybe slight misplay, just running in different directions and splitting up rather than running as a group. But during all that time, Cuckoo just farming, gets the Boots of Travel finished up, so he's got ways to be able to join the fight with his teammates.
Fight they will. TNC smoking up. Totally unbeknownst to the side of LFY, no vision down at that area. So TNC do have a chance to make a jump here.
They're really relying on the Alchemist farm though at this point. It's 3k lead, and the Alchemist is the one who has the 6k lead over the next hero. So the next three are LFY's.
I mean, they see DDC mid. It's obviously not the biggest kill they want, but it is a kill nonetheless. He'll make sure to waste their time with the Grave. He's going to look to see if he can get the timing with a deny. It was just a little bit too early though. The Grave was still up. In fact, TNC said, all right, we'll turn this into a Roche attempt. Straight away, they're into the pit. I mean, LFY are probably going to be aware that this is happening.
They've got a pretty decent Roche lineup. They don't really take too much damage because of the Chemical Rage and Liquid Fire, so the Roche doesn't really attack, and they have to sustain through it.
I mean, this is going to work out perfectly if TNC just get away with that. DDC sort of making the call for TNC there. So commentate Roche. They say, well, we will. And LFY, they're not even going to try and challenge it. Free Roche down there for TNC. Aegis into Cuckoo's pocket.
How convenient. Excellent call there by TNC, though, to make their way in with that stolen damage. And they do have a decent amount of minus armor, like we said. Acid Spray with Riptide. Puts Roche down quite a lot.
Still Monet on the farm. How's he doing item-wise? He's
on his way toward Manta.
Nearly at the ultimate orb, yeah. Still very
the road to recovery is still there.
Yes. See, as we said, you know, at the start where he was very much behind. In a much better position now. Decent levels as well, level 12.
Gets an Arcane Rune, that helps a lot. More Conjure Images. TNC has some very deep wards to watch wherever that Alchemist, or to watch wherever that Terrorblade is farming.
Right time to be popped, Raven. Just a few hundred away from having the Blade Mail on the Razor. Still certainly all the space in the world for Cuckoo's Alchemist.
Yeah, it's just Cuckoo really farming though. That's the one concern I do have for TNC, is that no one else is really able to get farming.
They are trying to fight here around the shrine, and they're not going to get away with it. But Savage comes to the midst of it all, gets the 2-man burst strike, craves out time. But indeed the MP chase down coming through, forcing the side of LFY back. DDC has already put the Grave, the Dream Cold Stone will hold them back. Silence onto Samh to make sure he can't burst strike forward.
Nobody died?
That could have got a lot messier for LFY there, trying to fight around that shrine. But it didn't. They all survived. DDC again with a very nice Grave.
He's been on point with those. I actually cannot believe that nobody died there. TNC had to expend a couple ultimates there to defend that. Now LFY able to siege a bit toward that tower, but TNC's all in the area. They still have Sleep too, and like the panel mentioned, they do have a decent combo with the Jakiro and the Sanking on top of that Sleep.
So if they can do anything off the back of this, they are going to jump forward with the Burrow Strike onto Monet. Still on the sidelines though, Arfu's still by the shrine, looking to see if he can get behind them for a clutch silence. Cuckoo will have his eyes upon him. He's not going to look for the chase though, Arfu too speedy.
Cuckoo just farmed a massive Ancient stack. About to have Manta Style already finished up now too. Double the net worth of the next hero. Alchemist.
He's going to try something here with this haste rune. Looks to see if he can get a bit of a cheeky play onto Super. Super jumps back, will jaunt off. Phase shifts there. Dodge the concoction.
He's got to use it now.
Raven. Into Wars, DDC has got Samh in the neighborhood. See if they can get anything done. 14:37 around as well.
The wards this game have been crazy by TNC. I'm pretty sure every single ward they've placed has been put in the enemy jungle. or watching that one ancient spot, the one on the left side. But other than that, yeah, they've been completely focused on sticking on LFY's side of the map, other than Cuckoo. Cuckoo's just chilling in the jungle.
And Flame keeping up the split push pressure as well. Shadow Blade complete, so he's going to feel a lot safer doing so now. And definitely something that TNC had to be aware of. But of course, with the Naga, with the Alchemist, they themselves, very good methods of pushing out the lanes. I mean, you mentioned Jakiro saying it, and their whole team as a whole, a lot better at sort of bursting down the waves in comparison to LFY's lineup when it comes to waves pushing it.
Yeah, definitely. They have the Nature's Prophet though, which is he's a little bit of a different creature. He can go everywhere.
Mid lane, quick jump in onto 1437 with the Veil, of course. Massive amounts of magical damage from LFY.
They did see a couple people bottom, or they saw at least one hero bottom with LFY. Now they're starting to pincer, looking for a couple kills. They poured in. There's actually no reveal on the side of TNC except for that one sentry ward they have in the middle of the jungle.
And in fact, LFY maybe wanting to try and fight this. Alfu comes in immediately with the silence onto Sam H. Hulk from a Raven comes through. They'll start to force back here onto Inflame. They have the root as well. He goes for the TP out. Graves there to make sure he's safe. But no, the Burrow Strike comes in from Sam H. He's going to be left behind. Inflame's down. They do lose Sam H in return. But TNC, seeing what they can get some more. Cuckoo comes in with the bots with the pre-prepared concoction. And that will set up for a second there for TNC.
Nice response. The beauty of having Boots of Travel on Alchemist at an early time. You can always join the fights and outnumber. LFY probably thought that they could outnumber them there, but unable to. And now they go high ground.
They are going
Still
up.
got the Aegis.
They've got the Manta, the Radiance, and as you say, the Aegis on this Alchemist. Cuckoo feeling ready to frontline. They are without Sam H, but LFY themselves, no DDC, no Inflame. Getting very close to bringing down this tier 3. The fortification comes out from LFY. They do have... No, they don't quite have Dream Coil yet. How long until we're seeing that one up?
2 seconds.
2 seconds,
Yeah.
so they've got it now. Now TNC realize they start to back off. They're a little scared of this. There's the
song, though.
The 3, indeed the song. Coming through, buying time for Cuckoo at least to TP out. Tim's TPing out as well. 1437, looks like he will be the one to be left behind. Raven trying
They get Raven
but
as
he's not
well.
going to make it. Wasn't quite quick enough with it. Now with the Void Stone coming out from Arfu. Raven, he will be taken down. So LFY able to punish TNC off the back of that push down bottom, taking 2, and TNC, as you know, they did get a lot of damage to the tier 3 tower, but they didn't quite finish it off.
Could be worse though. If they weren't able to get the song off at that time, if he got silenced somehow, it could have been 4 or 5 heroes dropping. So losing 2, not the greatest, but can definitely be more costly. And they got, yeah, like you said, majority of that tower brought down. Aggressive TPing in. They're looking for Tims as well.
Coming in, Arfu with the setup, Sprouts out with the silence. And of course, Song still on cooldown, no chance for Tims. LFY. Quick with the plays, knowing that there's already a couple of heroes off the map, and straight down the bottom lane. Monet, with the last of his Metamorphosis, putting pressure onto this tier 1. They've got the full 5 mana around it for LFY. This is a very, very risky tower for TNC to try and hold, and indeed they won't even give it the time of day. They'll let it go. As LFY playing the tower.
We mentioned how much these two guys do. Inflame and Afu on LFY are having incredibly good games. 5 and 2 and 11. He's involved in all 16 kills on Afu. That's absolutely incredible. And 4 and 1 and 5, of course, of Inflame. Very impressive for what he's been doing, but still, Afu is absolutely everywhere, involved in everything that they've done so far.
Cuckoo's deep though. He's in LFY territory. Afu is actually gonna kind of let him go there. Did spot him out. Now we'll go in on him with Monet. And they, but no, Afu's not bothering to throw anything down on him. I guess he knows there's the Manta there, and so it just feels like he can't do anything about that Alchemist. Just have to sort of let Cuckoo be and get on with his life.
That's just the fear factor of the Alchemist. They need the puck pretty much, because he's their only real lockdown. As the panel kind of talked about, their chase is good because they have the Night Stalker, but their actual way of like keeping the fights near them is just the puck. They don't have any other stuns besides puck. Cuckoo will be getting that Octarine at a good timing, 25 or 26 minute mark. So, like we said, double the net worth of the next ones. But other than that, it's still, you take a look, and it's only a 2K lead for TNC, and it's actually a 1,000 experience lead going the way of LFY.
It's, yeah, as you say, you know, just looking at the 3 cores from LFY. Across the board in comparison to Raven and Sam H, LFY are breaking ahead. This Midas on Inflame certainly working out, and as you say, you know, the amount of split push pressure he's been putting on, farming these waves, keeping them pushed out.
And the really impressive thing too is that Monet, he's 0 and 0. Has not died yet, even though he got aggro tri-laned, has been doing a great job of just recovering. His team is making all the space in the world for him to do that, which he desperately needs. He's now got Manta style though, so he's a lot more threatening.
I'm going to see a smoke on smoke here coming through from both sides. TNC Coming down the river, LFY entering from the bottom.
It looks like here.
They are going to look to jump onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo gets the chemical rage out. They'll drop the Dream Core Nature Repertoire as the man stolen out the back of the TNC coming in. Savage looking for the epicenter there. He gets it. Comes in. Only catches the Night Stalker.
They're sleeping though.
And in fact, yeah, the sleep epicenter. They sort of said we can't fight. We've got to get out for now. LFY, they are going to certainly chase this down. They look towards Tims, jumping forward with the silence. Samh still down the high ground. They have got the concoction built up by Cuckoo. Tries to throw it out, but super easy phase shift there for the puck. Will be fine. LFY continuing to chase up the high ground. Ice Path holds back the Night Stalker. Raven with the ultimate steal and the Blade Mail, returning a lot of damage. Super still trying to jump back into the silence. Looking for Samh. Can he quite find it? No, Samh still alive. Inflame's going to TP onto the side. Looking for him, but the Sandstorm's there. Samh keeps himself alive. Not only the Jakiro to have died yet, but TNC, they're falling very low. Samh again with the rope. Trying to break the distance, but Super jumps forward. Will finish off Samh. Tims holding down the puck underneath the range of the tower.
Buyback
still, Super too tanky, has the phase shift. Sandstorm's there, but he's going to be used up. Can he get himself out of this one? No, the blink's not going to be there in time. Will phase shift dodge the burrow strike? Can he really play himself out? Hacked off the blink. There's illusions upon him. Sandstorm as well, trying to hold this man back. Tims looking to try and get the net out. Cuckoo's there with the cutoff, and he cannot escape that. Super finally goes down as TNC will take the puck.
What a crazy fight. They actually forced Samh to buy back there, but the whole time that they have Metamorphosis, they just want to go, go, go. They don't want to not fight. As soon as meta wears off, that's when they instantly start to retreat.
Absolutely, and it's instantly when TNC say, let's get down this middle lane. No Metamorphosis. Yep. Puck's down for 30 seconds. They want to try and abuse this opening as much as they can. Into the tier 2 they go. Can they break the high ground though? We saw them try it down on the bottom lane.
I think they're going to go down bottom, it looks like. I see the line drawn by 1437. They have a creep wave coming in mid, so they're actually able to go for that tower. They're still glyph up, and now they're all aggressively weaved. Armor is starting to tick down.
This could be risky. 10, 12 seconds till puck's back. Fortifications there. TNC have to be very careful about how they go about this bottom lane push.
Courier snipe coming out. Easy for Inflame.
And yeah, TNC, they back off from that bottom lane. As soon as the puck's back up, they realize they cannot afford to overstay their welcome like the last time they did down there.
They get a nice deep ward in the base though, and I don't think LFY is going to know that that's there. Because usually you expect it when someone commits more to a push, but in that one, that's just a really sneaky ward coming out from 1437.
Bottom lane, 1437, out alone again. Will try for the TP out, but the damage is more than enough from LFY.
I like this by Super too. He didn't use it in this situation, but now he has the boot to travel finished up on the puck. So he can always TP to Inflame's Treants and always get involved in all the fights.
They're going to look for Roshan as well. With one man down, they know that they've got the numbers advantage for 20 seconds, and LFY...
Solo Crest too, yeah, they should be able to bring it down at a decent pace. This is the important one too. This is the Aegis and the Cheese. Song is available, Epi is available as well, but without that Jakiro...
This is going to be such a terrifying push as well. You know, Monet has Metamorphosis back up and available. That with Aegis and Cheese. They have a very strong possibility of being able to break the high ground of TNC, and TNC, indeed, they are nowhere near this. They'll start to send some Naga illusions out, but it's going to scout it out too late as LFY do get themselves Roshan, Aegis, and Cheese.
TNC probably doesn't want to take straight up fights now versus that. Trying to split push. They've got the means to do so, though, with the Alchemist, of course. And Cuckoo's about to have Shivas, which is a huge pickup. That one item actually makes Alchemist insane. Just the amount of it increases your tankiness is massive because that armor and as well as the slow and attack speed slow can be quite crucial on Monet.
They pretty much have to focus everyone on that out to have a chance of killing him.
Or somehow get like a silence off before he's able to, like after the Mantis now comes off, so he can't get the Chemical Rage, but it's still super hard to bring him down. They have to isolate him or get a heavy weave ticking down from Monet to just find a place where
bottom lane again. Yeah, anyone that comes down here will be hunted down. Arfu closes the gap, has the Crippling Fear, trying to go for the TP straight out in the sideline, but coils down. And that will be another pick-off for LFY down in this bottom lane. I mean, both Arfu and Inflame just so scary to push out in a game where these two are playing this Night Stalker Nature's Prophet. Is time and time again, they are catching out these solo lane pushes.
And for the first time in the entire game in 30 minutes, it was a 100 golding for LFY, but now it's gone back for TNC.
Cuckoo back on with the farm train. As soon as that Shivas is done, he's up to 2k on top of it. Arfu eyes towards the middle lane. Down bottom as well, 1437.
They're starting to get a lot of their itemization coming out, though. Monet has completely recovered, as we see, that 13,000 net worth. But now, with the Manti style, which is the super core arm, but Hurricane Pike, now he has that tool to actually push himself away from that Razor to not have to worry so much about that static link. Raven.
They're talking about the Razor. He's been spotted out in the tree line. He needs to back up. A super jumps in. Beautiful silence on the back lines. Make sure that there's no response immediately. The stun does still come out from Cuckoo, but TNC keeping their distance, not wanting to take the fight against LFY whilst they do not have good vision around that area. LFY will back off. TNC do hold this tier 2 for the time being in the middle lane. But again, I mean, you talked about it in the draft. These puck silences have the potential to be so clutch in these team fights. Every time the Super's in position, it's pretty much impossible for TNC's backliners to react as quick as the rest of the team need them to do so. Afu on the side. Gets spotted out and will immediately go for the TP back to base. Because mid lane, TNC,
they really wanted.
They're immediately coming down this. Again,
Cliff is still cooldown for 1 more minute, so they want to try to force something.
It's every time that metamorphosis has been used.
Yep, exactly.
Every time that they know that's not there, TNC know that they have this nice little advantage.
They have to. Like, they are actually starting to be in a point where it's just the Alchemist who actually does much in the fights. Everybody else is, I mean, Razor's 11k net worth. Sanking has dropped down to all the way 7,000 net worth. So not really having the impact that you would want from your core Sanking. But that's the nature of their draft. It's the Alchemist versus the world. And LFY is slowly but surely getting means to be able to deal with it.
TNC, though, still playing it safe. Take the tier 3. Don't stick around for more. Back off. Clean up the shrines. And there definitely is still some sort of solace and safety knowing how farmed Cuckoo is. You constantly got this Alchemist, which is getting to the point where he's sort of borderline unkillable.
And he can give Ags to every single one of their heroes, which will be super helpful.
Who's getting it first?
Probably, I would say probably the Raven, just because of he's underfarmed. Sanking is probably like one of the best ones because of the stun, how massive the range is for him to catch and everything. But I think just because Raven, his farm has completely stagnated, you have to give him a way to accelerate.
Let's see if that is next on the shopping list. It certainly is getting close to the point where Cuckoo can look to buff up his teammates. Has 5,000 gold in the bank at the moment.
Like all the eggs are pretty cool. Like the Jakiro is probably the most underwhelming. It's great for high ground defense.
What about the Naga Ag's fault? How many times have we seen that?
I think I've seen it twice ever in competitive Dota or something, maybe less. It's very rare. I mean, I know it's been picked up, but you don't see it often at all.
I think full duration ends up healing like 56% of everyone's HP or something. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
70%.
Okay. I mean, yeah, that can absolutely turn a fight if they get the clutch moment to use it.
Especially with an Alchemist, right? You full heal him, and then he pops Chemical Rage again, and then you're like, uh-oh.
But for the time being, Cuckoo, focusing on the necessities for the team, does pick up the gem for the side.
Super finished up the Aghanims. That's also the thing is, we were talking about the Alchemist being able to pull Ags, but Puck, when he gets level 20, 25, can pull the Moon Shards, and that 420 GPM starts to become pretty absurd for himself. So he actually chooses the minus 3 seconds on Waning Rift. Okay. You see a lot of players go for the Spell Lamp because you get level 25, you get your Dagon fast. Eventually you'll be able to just burst people down like that. But the Waning Rift, like we said, it's been super relevant in this game and can prove to do so.
I mean, what's the kind of the timings then? What, on a 10-second cooldown?
It's like the same cooldown as your orb.
Yeah.
Like that's the, you orb in, you're able to get silence off pretty much every single time because they're 11 on the orb and 10 on that. Scotty next on the menu for Monet. Now level 18 for that low cooldown Sunder.
And I think definitely to kind of harp on what you've been mentioning, the thing to know about this game is the fact that LFY are only 1,000 behind when TNC have an Alchemist with 31k net worth at 35 minutes. It just goes to show how kind of well-rounded and farmed up the remaining members of LFY are in comparison to that of TNC. The rest of TNC other than this out are really, really falling behind.
Yeah. They're having to kind of run around because they're afraid of the pickoffs. That's what was happening in the mid-game. Like 10 minutes ago or so, people were showing bottom. They kept getting killed over and over again. So they're at a point where they're like, okay, we kind of have to stick together because this Nature's Prophet and Nightstalker are putting too much pressure on us, and it's causing them to get very underfarmed. It's just Cuckoo. Now it's up to 6,500 gold.
I mean, he's got enough to pick up a Scepter and have the buyback.
See what he wants to do. If he wants to maybe finish up the armlet for himself and buy like an AC instead of getting the Aghanims for teammates
swap
first.
out something for that.
Could be a possibility.
Look at the Halberd now on Raven, so a bit of an answer to the main man Monet when the TV turns up to the fight.
He's He's picked up a couple items. That Hurricane Pike, Halberd, and Blade Mail Hood.
Now that there's a Blood Thorn though on Inflame, definitely that sort of same thing applies, as you said earlier. If they can get that silence onto the outpost Manta style, then they've got the potential to even bring him down. It's a lot of damage if they have that on him, and the whole team focusing.
3 different ways to silence him, and also now to break that evasion, of course, with the Bloodthorn. His teammates can hit through it at least, unless it gets manted off. So both teams do have that gem picked up, so the vision game will be slowed down on both sides, but LFY should be able to win it because they have Night Stalker.
Looks like Cuckoo is just going to continue to buy items for himself, as you said. Almost
so he's going to go
swap out the armlet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of going for an extra armor item, he wants to be able to do more damage and better ways to push out the lanes, because they're starting to struggle to deal with this Nature Prophet split push.
Here we go, armlet gone. Honor and the recipe picked up. Just needs to get that Hyperstone from the side shop.
Yeah.
Then we can definitely expect the axe.
Mjolnir is super useful though. With the Mjolnir, with the Shivas, with Octarine, you throw that on yourself, you just kind of run into the fights. It's also great versus the Tower Blade Illusions, of course, so he can get a good amount of healing and able to actually clear versus it. And yeah, Iascati now finished up for Monet. That recovery.
Yeah, he's played it perfectly, Monet.
Top 3 now. 1-0-7.
All of that down to, of course, DDC's play as well. Many times that we saw Monet living on the edge, but DDC came in with the clutch saves.
Roche should be spawning relatively soon.
TNC with this movement. They're looking for some action, hunting down Arfu. They will manage to find the connection with the Burrow Strike, Ice Path and Concoction. Finally, after a bit of a slumber in the game, TNC break it by finding Arfu out and alone. Super's there, though, cutting the wave, so nothing more that TNC can do with their presence down on this bottom lane.
TNC made a play around their only ward vision that they did have, the one that's half duration in the enemy jungle. So they just tried to make something. Because they definitely feel, that map is starting to close on them a bit with LFY all farming all over the place. They only have the Alpha. Keep mentioning over and over again who is farming.
Super looking for the Lincoln Sphere next. Once that is on, he is going to be feeling incredibly free in these team fights. Top lane, Cuckoo's being eyed up. LFY with 4 in the neighborhood. They're ready to try and make a play here onto the Alchemist. Cuckoo, is he going to get himself house? Already has used the Manta, so now there's the chance for Inflame to go in with that silence.
Oh, they might think that's the real one. He moved it away.
Indeed. Oh, the bait is perfect. Cuckoo, he's out mind game them. Now goes for the TP. Super
They've got a Yules.
Still have the Yules and will manage to hold him back, cancelling the teleport. But Super, he can try and turn a fight. He needs backup from his team. His team are on the way, but it's actually Arfu keeping TNC away from getting there in time. Cuckoo has one more use of the Man Style, will bring down DDC, but that's Cuckoo down.
That's a massive kill.
Arfu seeing if they can maybe set up the wall. Look at this trap here. Tims is just surrounded. No escape for him there as the illusions from the Terrorblade and the Treants.
Did anyone pick up the gem that the Jakiro, I think, had? Or that somebody... I see it. Oh, no, it's up there. They're pinging it. They know, though.
Still at the top.
That's the Dazzle had it. He was pinging it. Yeah. DDC's like, wait a minute. They didn't take it. So they send the courier up there.
But really nice engagement. Even though it wasn't the smoothest of entries, we saw them go on the illusion. But then Arfu, as I say, we kind of saw it at the bottom there. He sort of held back TNC. TNC were trying to make their way up to help Cuckoo. But Arfu was kind of like, hey, come and look at me, guys. And indeed, that sort of slowdown has enabled LFY to now be in this position to break the high ground with the last few seconds of Metamorphosis. It is now gone. Super jumping in, 2-man silence, get the Dream Coil onto the Sanking. There's the sneak from Tims.
They're all lined up for the Ice Path.
Very lined up here. 1437, he lays down the Ice Path. Doesn't connect onto Inflame, but the combo comes in. They're falling like there's the Epicenter from Savage. Takes down 2. Super trying to jump his way out, but Raven's there with the ultimate. Tims as well, looking to chase down again. No, the Ice Path won't connect. Blinks out, but the root's through. Tims closes the gap. TNC hold. Perfect song there from Tims to set everything up. And that push ground to an absolute halt.
You couldn't ask for a better situation to happen right there. Literally all 4 of them in a perfect line for the Ice Path, for the Sanking follow-up. Great defense there from TNC. It only required the Naga to buy back there. I was worried. I was like, I think they might have to buy back the Alchemist, but yeah, perfect.
We'll see it again.
Look at this lineup.
I mean, as you say, yeah, Tims having the fortitude to buy back.
Look at that.
I mean, he could have got all 4, did only get 3 of them.
Oh, it's still pretty.
Nah, he goes for the 3 big ones. Make sure that he gets both Super and Monet in there. And indeed, Samh, no hesitation as he follows through with the combo.
And now Roche respawns right afterwards, so TNC makes their way in there. Gonna pick up an easy Aegis cheese. And now the Aghanim Scepters will be coming out. Did he actually buy one yet? No, he's got 4,000.
He's ready to go. There we have it. The Roche is down. TNC.
They're trying to make a move right away. They still have 20 seconds until the puck respawns. They're trying to get a pick off to keep LFY one man down. So next big item pickups for TNC will be the Lotus Orbs to deal with the Sunder whenever Monet is able to get that off. And we already see Sam H grab one up. I think Tim's had one in his quick buy as well. He does. And I think I saw Jakiro as well with him, but no, okay, he took whatever item he had as quick buy out. The Lotus Orbs, of course, super useful versus Sunder to reflect that. Negate the heal.
So if they get anything with a smoke, looks like it is just a smoke and back off.
And now everybody's up. They wanted to try to take advantage of when somebody was dead.
Cuckoo with his Arcane Rune at this stage, going to put an extra bit of a speed boost to his farming potential.
Yep.
As he still sits comfortably, of course, at the top. Inflame, though, very much, he is getting a lot on this Nature's Prophet. He's halfway through level 24, nearly at the 25. Very close to having a full-out Miona himself as well.
His damage is still very high. Never can sleep on Nature's Prophet.
Super.
TNC starting to move in.
Yeah, they are looking towards Super here on this top lane. The upgraded bots allowing Cuckoo to come in on top of 1437. Super's in the tree line. We'll see if they can find him. Shivas won't quite catch him in the area. And he is out in the trees. They do not have any sort of cancel or vision to hold him back. But on the side of it all, Sam H does get the stun onto Inflame.
He wants to BKB TP, but Tim's is starting to make him closer. Is he able to get the net off in time?
It's going to be close.
So. It's going to be close, but
yeah, not quite there. So Inflame will keep himself alive.
Second BKB usage.
And this is definitely turning out to be quite the game that we hoped it to be. Both sides really giving it their all here on the main stage. 23-15, 5k lead for TNC. But definitely a game that could still swing both ways around, as we can see there. You know, one fight and a sharp drop off for one of the sides.
Yeah. Aghanim Reserve is almost finished up. He starts bringing it out to pick up the point booster. Giving it to Raven also doesn't just make it so that he's more farmed, of course, which he's started to catch up heavily because of the fights, but then they actually have better siege to kill towers with that Aghanim's upgrade. Which is really just the Alchemist who can start hitting towers at this moment.
Ooh,
until
that illusion nearly took down that Aghanim's delivery there. They will still get it over safely. And Cuckoo, where's it going?
It actually goes to Tim's.
It goes to Tim's. I mean, he did pull off a brilliant sleep play. I think you have to reward that. And as you know, as we're saying, the heal, it is incredibly substantial.
And it's Tim's.
It's Tim's. If you're going to trust anyone to get the sleep off at the clutch moment to give you that 70% health regen, I mean, it's just essentially it's a second life for your whole team if it's timed right. And yep. Tim's certainly playing at the top of his game here in this first game of the series. We can expect some big plays to happen with that. And definitely, this is something as well that Tim's, he can make his name even bigger with
bottom
this.
Lane.
We don't see a lot of Aghanims. Nagasaran plays bottom lane though indeed. 1437 jumped upon, does manage to
get the
cheese
out.
And now look at the turnaround. Super will use up to dodge the concoction, but they still find a connection. Has the phase shift. Will be able to blink out of this, and indeed down to the bottom. Can they actually catch him out? He's in the trees with the orb. He's fine, just a little too slippery.
Cheese
still
forced.
Very hard to catch this puck, no doubt about it.
Cheese forced, reactions forced as well. Now they go back to the other side of the map, keep pushing the lanes.
And it's going to be a little harder to do as well for LFY for Super if they see 1437 out on his own, because he now does have a Yule Scepter himself.
Now they've got level 25 Nature's Prophet. Oh, he actually misclicks his BKB.
Oh,
he's testing to see if it works.
We didn't see that on the mainstream fault.
He's just testing it. That's the way it works.
See if we do mid.
Monet.
Raven finding Monet here. Cuckoo's going to charge up the concoction. We'll throw it out. BKB comes out straight away. Monet, no messing around. Knows that he has to save himself. Can't leave open any opportunity for him to be caught out like that.
Doesn't even risk trying to go for the Manta dodge. Just all out goes for the BKB. So 45 minutes in, we've got double catapult waves coming in. We've got double runes, of course, too. Start playing a favor.
Bottom lane, Tim's bringing in Cuckoo. They are going to try and set up with the sleep. They managed to find him. Do they have the connection? The concoction's going to come out earlier, but now with the back of the Samage, Super's actually trying to TP in to save this. The silence of Green comes through, but Inflame just melts, disappears immediately. Super down deep in the trees, will be fine. But this is 90 seconds where they don't have to worry about that Inflamed Nature's Prophet being out on the map. TNC can definitely give it a good shot, trying to force out that buyback. Mid lane though, 1437 being gone upon, has the self-fuels, but with 3 heroes surrounding him, very little chance of him getting home alive, as 1437 will be gone.
Yeah,
but straight away, it's, you know, TNC down bottom, they're fine with this attention being drawn towards mid.
Aegis gets reclaimed.
What can they do to stop this? Metamorphosis is popped. Starting to beat into Cuckoo.
They're getting pincered on though here in the back.
Oh, they are. This wraparound coming through. TPL straight away. No, he cancels it. Wants to try and find this Cuckoo and help his teammates. They get the silence out of the Night Stalker. Super. Bringing them away. Has a haste run as well, Monet. Forcing himself forward, trying to close the gap.
They really want to catch something here with this Metamorphosis.
Oh, that dodge of the concoction. Very nice, Super. It's not going to jump forward though.
They're unable to get anything. So Meta now will be down for the next engagement.
Yeah, TNC.
They're already resetting. They're trying to get in there while that Meta goes down.
Yeah, this is the perfect time. With those last few seconds of Metamorphosis, if they can get that jump. And Cuckoo's being spotted out again by the illusions being spread out from Monet.
Elfai knows.
How much can TNC do with that Metamorphosis down? They are still without 1437. Only 10 seconds until Inflame is back as well.
They really want to be able to kill Tims in these fights, but with the Guardian Greaves and how innately tanky Naga is, it's really hard just to move all the silences and always able to get that sleep up, so it's super threatening.
And we've got the next Aghanim's coming out as well from Cuckoo. This one, it is going to go the way. Who's he giving it to? It does go the way of Raven, as you expected, yeah.
Those are the 2 more important ones. I mean, Sand Kings is also super important, but letting Raven get that surge of gold is important because he's still not he's not where he ideally really would want to be as a Raven.
Super. Don't really have any sort of instant lockdown though, so Super is fine. He'll jump back up.
Inflame is not there. Inflame is now pushing in top and pushing in middle.
Yeah, really nice use of these Terrorblade illusions to keep all lanes pushed out away from LFY's base. TNC, they really need to, they've got to back up, they've got to try and push one of their waves up with and protect it against this illusion spam from LFY that's coming out from Monet to make sure that they have a chance of actually doing damage to the barracks of LFY.
Cuckoo has enough for that. Aghanim's almost with Ags and buyback for that final one. Then he can start giving moon shards and eating moon shards himself.
I mean, don't forget the Jakira Ags as well.
Yeah.
That does a hefty bit in the fights.
It's more about high ground defense for that one at least. But yeah,
sure,
it could be.
It's the last on the list.
Yeah, it could be massive.
MKB now out for Monet, so he is really going to be packing a punch. It's getting to the point where it may even be impossible for TNC to think about taking a fight when he has Metamorphosis up. He definitely has the potential to kill the Alchemist.
And almost level 25, so he gets that extra stats that push him forward, unless he chooses for the Sunder cooldown. But
let's see what we've got here. TNC, I'm ready to push forward. Raven trying to build up his damage from the illusion. Being from Inflame, will have the Sprout. Still teasing around, no one yet to commit anything heavy.
God, Reflection is such a strong spell. Every time they walk up with the Alchemist, the Reflection starts to do a crazy amount of damage.
Straight out, look with the blood form. Cuckoo has to Manta and get himself forced out immediately. Dreamcore's dropped down, only connects onto Raven. There's the song though. Tims making sure that the side is safe.
They have to retreat.
They will. I mean, again, it's the same thing. Metamorphosis is out. TNC say, all right, we'll back off. We'll try and use the next thing. But of course, LFY, they really want to fight with this. They come through with Inflame, post the BKB, but he's netted up, held back, silences out. Onto the
Cuckoo suns himself.
Guardian who grieves himself out. Force forward, trying to get Cuckoo out of there. Super jumping in. Cuckoo's still alive for the time being. Arfu trying to chase him down. They've got the Reflection. It's not quite enough to kill Cuckoo. He will survive. Grave comes out from DDC to try and save Arfu, but he ticks out to the fire from 1437. So all in all, LFY that wants to lose one of these, and now TNC is ready to go back in. They know that Metamorphosis is falling down. They get the first strike connection. Super will jump in with the silence.
Okay, it's a buyback.
There's the Grave, looking for the Sunder, but the Lotus Orb. He doesn't get the Sunder. The Lotus play is there. TNC, they break down the Terrorblade. What a clutch Lotus Orb. And TNC, they're not done yet. They've got the vision on DDC in the trees. They'll take down the Dazzle as well. And now they're ready to go to the high ground. Buyback from DDC. Arfu.
It's backdoor though. Already LFY is addressing the issue that there's no buyback on Terrorblade.
But look at the damage. With the ults as well. The Aghanim's ultimate from Raven. They'll clean up this bottom lane of Rax. Maybe even more. They're looking towards mid. Inflame heavy with the split push pressure right down the middle lane. They don't have the creeps. They now don't have the ultimate anymore from Raven, but still, they're slowly but surely doing it down this middle lane. Inflame, he's committing to that middle, wants to try and find something in return. He's onto the tier 3. No, there's the jump off. The Dream Call goes through, cancelling Savage's TP out. There's no way for Sam to get back. He's going to be going back in a coffin. He's out for 80 seconds. Super trying to play with the rest of them, allowing Inflame to get the job done down the middle lane.
He's still going.
Samh
down on that Rex, too.
They've got Samh and 1437 back at base, looking to hold. Inflame pops the BKB, looking for the TP out. They don't have enough damage to go through it, so they
got to kill the catapults. Yeah, they don't have to kill the catapults.
That melee rack's falling low, but as we saw, they've got to be aware of the split push still mid lane, playing around with Cuckoo. They won't go in for the kill though, the backup's not quite there. So at the end of the day, the job is certainly done by TNC. They get the full bottom lane of Brax. Mid lane is held onto though, and Inflame doing everything he can to slow down TNC.
Super clutch plays coming out from everybody on TNC. That Lotus Orb, like you said, reflecting that Sunder, turning the fight around completely.
Everyone absolutely playing to their best ability here. This is quite the show between these two sides. There's another Aghanims.
Final eggs. And, oh, you know, just another casual 6,000 gold, of course.
There goes into Samh's pocket. Slowly press now as well for Tims. And speed up that Roche potential if they want to go for it. Still very hard for TNC to really walk straight into the pit and try and take it. Mid lane, jump forward with the silence. See if they can try and get a wraparound already. Arfu towards the left, but he's actually going to get caught out by that Axe Burrow Strike. Samh with the range, but the Ice Path's not quite there. Get himself over the tree line. TNC, they don't really want to go up to the high ground here. Bit of an awkward place for them to fight in. The back off. The weave's on them as well.
Yeah, 4-man weave.
Inflame again, keeping this pressure on top lane, being shoved in. I mean, this is crazy, really. We've seen how much of a free game Cuckoo has. We're 52 minutes in. Inflame's only 7,000 behind him. That just goes to show how farmed this Nature's Prophet is.
He's got 520 CS, so 10 CS a minute on that Nature's Prophet. Has to address the issues of the split push, always. Yeah, always has to be pushing those lanes out. Night Stalker actually now has the, Apu has the Aghanim Scepter finished up, so they can actually take the fights easier, because now they have the vision advantage in them. And I think Super also, I believe, hit level 25 for that GPM talent. Yeah, so full Hex now finished up and buyback. The Hex can be super significant to isolate that Alchemist, because that last fight was super close to him dropping down, but they were able to turn it around. Just the 4-staff defensive play from TNC was incredibly well done.
He's going to find Arfu on the side of it all. Will flap himself away, trying to escape. The Concoction connects, Burrow Strike as well. Gray from DDC comes out. Can they do anything in return? Money trying to go for
Tims is trying to sleep again. Hex.
Managed to hex him up. He can't quite get the sleep off. He's taken down. TNC have lost 2. Super jumping in. Cuckoo's armor falling low because of the weave. Money coming forward. Inflame keeping the front. They found 3. They're looking for Raven. He's up in the air, but they surround the Razor. Raven down as well. LFY making the hold here in their own jungle. And now Raven and Tims without buyback. Inflame already in position in the middle lane, trying to push down. 1437 buys back in. They do have the Alchemist, so still good amounts of deep push.
Super's Hex, so clutch in that fight right there. Not allowing Tims to get the sleep off, and then the MKB and the Weaves just started kicking in. Now they're going into the Roche pit. Meta is still active for about 10 more seconds, or 15 more seconds, and they should be able to bring this Roche down. But yeah, he gets the Hex, and within 15 to 20 seconds makes almost a game-winning play out of it.
Absolutely.
That swing is almost 10,000 gold now going for LFY.
And we saw that as well. I believe that the Lotus Orb was already on the target, but he just goes for it anyway. He says, it's all right if I self-fix. We need to get that target locked down.
That's the thing. They do only have that one Lotus Orb. They don't have several ones. That's what we were addressing a little bit. Several Lotus Orbs is the way to go versus Terrorblades especially. And now that there's a Hex, we're probably going to see them address that issue by picking up more of those. But here we see the Hex comes out as the Lotus Orb comes out.
Oh, and actually,
he has a Lincoln.
He has the Lincoln,
so
he doesn't care about the Lotus. Indeed, the Lincoln's still blocking that return. So indeed, perfect build from Super. I mean, if they had got that song off, it would have been an incredibly different story there.
Yep.
No doubt about it.
How many buybacks was that? That was 2. So we have the Alchemist buyback and the Jakiro buyback there. Now they're scared. Now this is where TNC is in a position where they don't... It's just that super... Like, if Alchemist dies, they just lose the game.
Yeah.
So you actually buy a full BKB here just in case to be defensive. And they can't really leave their base now, which gives LFY a huge opportunity to farm the whole map, which they're not really needing too much anymore. They're all kind of hitting their critical mass point. But it is that double runes that we were mentioning. That could be the crucial thing they need. Maybe they find a clutch double damage as it's bottom, or an arcane rune, something along those lines that can help them for those type of fights. And we actually did see Monet went for the Sunder cooldown. Okay. I'm a big fan of, because it's that 10-second cooldown can be so absurd in those fights, especially when you're playing with Dazzle. I think that's one of the
You're always
going
to have the chance to get that second life off, unless you're getting mass silence down and such. But yeah, with the BKB and the Manta,
like if you get graved,
there should be the chance.
Yeah, if you get graved and you get your Sunder off right at the start of the grave, then you have only 5 seconds where the grave wears off, where you have a secondary Sunder. So I think that's one of the instances you just want to go
TNC with the smoke up, but Super's there with an invis. He knows what's going on. Get the Hex off immediately.
5-man coil!
Oh, and the coil onto all 5! In flame up with the high ground. TNC gets the Onaball. It's starting to regen the backup. The regen doing work as they're brought back up to full HP. Now the turnaround with the Ice Path. They've got the lockdown on Flame. No BKB now, but Monet is tag teamed in. The Grave coming out rather early, but it's allowing Monet to go out. Looks towards Raven. Raven, can he keep himself alive? There's the buyback from Inflame. He's looking to come in for the finisher. They've taken down the second. Inflame, can he fight Kuka? The sprout from Inflame, forcing him to take the long way round, buying time for Monet to force himself forward. Cuckoo's still shut down by the Skadi, but he does get just enough far away. Can they turn back into this? They're looking for Monet. Concoctions out, will connect. Ice Bath off the back, but now with the ultimate from 4037 is bringing the Terror Blade down low. Not quite enough to finish him off though. LFY, do they really want to go in for this push? Inflame straight up on the top, making sure pressure's kept in on all sides of the map.
Meta's down. They got to reset. Wait for that to come back online. I think did DC misclick the grave there? Is that what I'd seen? I think
went very early.
He graved Monet, I believe, there instead of the Nature's Prophet who was dying. So I think that was a slight misclick there coming out from DDC in that last engagement, and it forces Inflame to buy back. So now there's that thing for TNC where if they kill the Nature's Prophet, it can be a pretty good access point for them. But
absolutely,
the rest of LFY does have buyback, and he's not as crucial as, let's say, the TNC's Alchemist.
Look at this though, smoke up immediately.
Well, this is not going to be expected at all.
LFY, yeah, TNC, they're just hanging outside the base here. This is very scary. Timms does have the song, he needs to use it. Hex comes out, there's the tree bomb, there's the song. Comes through, Monet pops the BKB, roots out, but he mantas it off. Back up to full health again, the Axel doing work now, the turn, Ice Path out onto the Terror Blade. DDC is there with the backup available, they'll force Monet back. There's the grave, Sunder keeps Monet alive. Cuckoo forced back up to the high ground. LFY, and they do still do this, there's the disarm onto Inflame. Held back, TNC still keeping LFY away from the barracks. 10 seconds until Sam H is back in. So again, despite Monet and DDC's play, it's enough to keep them alive, but it's not enough to get the kills on TNC and actually break this mid lane.
They tried to go for a very cute play there that no one would expect. Meta's down, you're expecting LFY to completely back off, try to get a nice kill off of it, but unable to with Tim's positioning over there on the right side. So still, same thing. They need to find a way to isolate Tim's, get that Hex on him so that he's unable to get those sleeps off.
These sleeps have been absolutely massive from Tim's.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect positioning.
Money racking up on Super. Definitely Consults, let's get the moonshot out. So already the moonshot on Monet. Does he give one to Inflame? Not one yet given to Inflame. Could be next on his shopping list. From the puck. Eyes no, it's the refresher. He goes all in. I mean, to be fair, we have seen these big Dream Coils and Waning Rifts and the Hex. If he can get this all out twice, it's going to be incredible. And Super, to be fair, you know, the panel said, and I joked about it at the start, seeing him in on the puck, but he has had an incredible game. 10, 4, and 12. And these late game plays and decisions that he has made.
He's been getting super clutch silences in the back. And we saw, what, 2 or 3 4-man, 5-man coils, and then the sleeps following up. If the sleep wasn't there, those fights are absolutely one for LFY. And now, yeah, he has double Hex too, so he can choose a little bit better. And if the Lotus Orb does remove the Hex, then he can refresh and go for it again after he uses all of his other equipment and spells, of course.
LFY. Still very much ready to try and do something. Metamorphosis is back and available.
Many of the heroes approaching their level 25.
CSC's coming up, they're raining on the high ground here. There's the jump in. Super gets immediately in with the Hex onto Tim's, removed by the Lux Sword. Falls back, but he's stunned. He can't get off the sword. And the
Coil stunned. I think I'm
getting the off in time. He's trying to see though. He can't. That's Tim's down 80 seconds. They've lost 40-37 as well. TNC and down 3. Savage coming in with the epic fire strike. Is it enough to get the kill in return? Looking for Monet. Raven's stolen a lot of damage here, but Monet
There's no creeps.
But there's no backup for the rest of the three of them. They're trying to fight against this backdoor regen. They should slowly but surely be able to get at least one of the racks.
They're going to clip it and heal it up.
Are they going to be able to hold this? Sam H, him and the burrow.
They've got a minute 20 for Alchemist buyback.
LFY knows they've got to try and get the kills on the side. Inflame does TP in immediately with the Sandstorm. Sam H gets away. There's your fortification.
And now the glyph is gone. Alright, now the backdoor protection's gone. The creeps have gone.
And Inflame's back in immediately, looking to finish off this mid lane of rack. They're looking to potentially go for the game. They get the Hex in time.
They're going sheer forest. They're going for the game.
They're going for the finisher. 30 seconds until the Naga's back. Maybe could look for a sleep play to slow things down. But the speed that LFY are moving in means that it may be too long. 20 seconds, no Naga. They're onto the base. LFY looking to close up game one here. No way, by the looks of it, the TNC could slow this one down. Despite their best attempts, and indeed, GG is called.
Wow,
LFY
what a game.
Game one.
Holy crap.
What a start to this series.
What a back and forth game, though. Incredible plays coming out from TNC with their coming to their 4 stabs, to their sleeps, of course, to the setups with the Jakiro Ice Path, macro pyre combos with Sanking. Everything going super well for TNC, but LFY coming in clutch at the end. Afu and Inflame carrying super hard in that early to mid game, and then Super coming in clutch with that Hex at the end.
The Hex plays from Super at the end, absolutely incredible. And just, again, this sort of coordination we've expected from LFY as a team. Giving DDC the dazzle, you're going to have troubles. And we saw time and time again those last few sieges as well. DDC enabling Monet, enabling Inflame. And Inflame, such bold plays as well, consistently TPing on the other side of the team, coming in from behind them, and they just didn't expect it.
They found so many pickoffs in the mid game with that Night Stalker, Nature's Prophet. They played it super good to let Monet get back online. That was incredibly impressive because of such a deficit that they're playing at for the first 20 minutes pretty much. This Alchemist is just raining chaos all over the place, but able to get some map control coming out, and they take it away.
Yeah, just the right amounts of pressure as well being put on from LFY at the end. You know, getting these openings, making sure the buybacks aren't there for TNC, and coming in with that hard-hitting finishing push. What a game one, ladies and gentlemen. Myself and Fob, we'll see you soon for game 2, but for now, back to Day 9 and the boys to hear what they have to say about that 61-minute spectacle.
Thank you, OD Fog. What a game. At 60 minutes into the game, there was less than a 3K net worth difference between the two teams. It was hard fought, and frankly, the closest game of the tournament thus far.
For sure, and I think it just comes down to what Peter said in the beginning, that their cores from TNC just wasn't good against the TB. They had Alchemist and they had Razor, and none of them is really good, like super late game against TB.
Razor was pretty underwhelming. He worked really well in lane when Terrorblade was mostly fighting in melee form, but as soon as Terrorblade got a couple items, got the Manta online, started, popping off meta in fights and spawning illusions, Razor just really didn't have a place.
I still thought TNC were going to win, though. They had that great execution in the team fights with the sleep.
Super's puck was a hero
questionable
he hasn't played a lot this tournament.
minutes.
It started off slow, but I thought towards the end of the series, or towards the end of that match, he really started to pick it up, and he made some really great plays.
Yeah, the incredible dream coils. I mean, especially in mid, he got just solo killed by an Alchemist.
Yeah, I'm sure he was he was making some aggressive play. We would have been like, oh my God, Super, if he killed the Alchemist. It just, it didn't work out.
And I got to give a huge shout out to Afu on the Night Stalker for again and again and again getting, he had 100% kill participation for the first 16 kills.
4 players are the stars of this tournament.
Yeah.
It's been like that for quite some time now, that the 4 position is so important for a team to actually work.
Yep.
Yeah, the 4 position, most often the position that is roaming around, trying to make plays, not staying in lane. Talking a little bit about the early game, we got Purge here, who specifically, I understand, Sand King was of great interest to you in the early game.
Yeah, Sand King. He wasn't the 4 position, but we have seen a lot of Sand Kings played in the 4 position. The way that they ended up doing their lanes was very smart from TNC. They were clearly the ones that were doing abnormal matchups with the aggro try, as well as the 1v1s in the other lanes. And we really did see a lot of the value. Razor was good against Terrorblade at the laning stage, as well as with their 2 supports. It worked out really nicely. They forced a Grave from Dazzle. So as a whole, it felt like TNC was putting pressure on and allowed the other lanes to actually be 1v1s. But the player I really want to talk about was Sam H, because his early rotations here ended up at least trading kills. So even though Alchemist did die in some of these engagements, I thought he was really instrumental towards making sure that they at least stay caught up and that their aggro try is not completely for a full loss. And I was very surprised how much damage he did. And it really comes back to the map. He was in a 1v1 situation against the Nature's Prophet, normally a 4 position, or in a rare case, maybe a solo offlane. So because he had all of these early levels, it really helped him have bigger impacts in these early parts of the game. And this is maybe the most crucial areas at the 8 to 12 minute mark. That's usually when the carries leave their safe lane. He was always staying top and doing so to ensure that his team was able to split push off on the bot lane. If we take a look down here, you can just kind of see they're just always pushing the bot lane out. Sam H is dodging the ganks, making sure that he doesn't end up going down. And because of this and all of these engagements, he's putting himself in danger. He's split pushing a little bit and forcing 4 heroes to spend time trying to kill him. And these clips are all in a period of around 8 minutes to about 12:30. And yeah, he does end up dying at the end here, but the same kind of principle shows. If you, again, look at the tier 2 tower, his team ends up trading a tier 2 tower for his own tier 1, which is really not a bad trade at all. So I really liked what he did between the 8 and 12 minute mark. Really gave his team a lot of space and helped them stay even despite the early pressure.
I mean, it was that sort of pressure that I actually think Naga was able to begin putting pressure on the tier 3 tower at close to 15 minutes into the game. I mean, the number of times that TNC just continued to get close to that tier 3 tower again and again, but amazingly LFY did not even let the bottom racks fall.
I really would have wanted to see they use the Naga more for a team fight and not just to run away, because a lot of the times before the 40-minute mark, he used the sleep to just get away instead of poking them a bit, and then when they group up, sleep, and then as they did in the 40-minute fight, they sleep 4 of them in a line. They put all of the twin spells and everything, and they just kill everyone. But I think they could have done that earlier.
Their fights were very focused on them kiting the Terrorblade out, and whenever that puck coil came out, that was a controlled situation where Terrorblade could pump in some damage, and that's when they were using that sleep to counter-initiate. So it would have been nice to see them set up fights and start that way, but I'm not sure if they really had another choice. I don't think they had an opportunity to fight that Terrorblade head-on because they didn't have enough AoE to deal with all the illusions.
For sure.
Yeah, especially once Terrorblade got the level 25 talent and was in the position to be able to use Sunder every 10 seconds, especially in that long last siege. We saw Terrorblade constantly gobbling up the fresh Alchemist health to stay alive.
Terrorblade Dazzle is a nice combination. We've seen it, I think we've seen it a couple times this tournament, but that combo's been around ever since Terrorblade got introduced into the game.
And the fights were really long too. We started to stack up, and the 6th item on Alchemist was Mjolnir instead of AC. Pretty a common pickup, or atypical pickup, but he needed it. He needed AoE versus Terrorblade, but then he didn't have enough armor, and he actually just died a lot of the time.
The Dazzle Weave had a huge impact in this game. Dazzle's a hero we've seen a little bit of. OG played it yesterday, but in this ultra late game scenario, that Weave is king.
Yeah, especially the fact that the Weave was able to pop off so early in the fights that Alchemist, I mean, I was shocked at how much he was getting chunked down.
The fights lasted for a long time, so tons of positive
took
armor.
Took up so much space on the map.
Yeah, tons of negative armor on that Alchemist, making him pretty simple to kill for Terrorblade.
And I gotta say, this is the sort of match that people get hyped about for TI. Of course, LFY still living up to their high win rate at the tournament, but TNC showing that they're a contender as we've currently seen the closest first game yet. Let's go ahead and head on over to Casey and Slacks to get their thought on the series.
Hello!
Hello!
Hello! Let's just do that for 20 minutes and see if it bugs anyone. So we're here with a lot of cool people behind us. Yeah! Hey, what have you guys thought about the International so far?
Awesome! Amazing!
What did you think of the opening ceremony?
Opening ceremony! Oh, yeah!
We had a lot of fun filming that little sketch that you saw.
Yeah, we did.
Didn't you?
Yeah, but everybody makes mistakes, you know. We had a few missteps. I mean, sometimes you don't say your lines. Sometimes you draw a giant cannon on live TV. Everybody messes up.
Wow, dude.
But the funniest part, though, are sometimes the outtakes. And we have assembled some of our best outtakes and someone else as well. So hope you enjoy.
01, 05, take 1.
Whoa, sorry. That was way too much.
You just go just a smidge more with your left. Yeah, just out a little bit.
Oh,
5 minutes to curtain.
Spit it out. How long?
5 minutes to curtain.
Okay, new guy.
Okay, thank you. How about you come and get me a coffee?
Okay, all right. Okay, why don't we just hide these?
Oh, God, please. Not Gavin.
Everybody's either going to hate us or...
Sweet Gavin.
What is this?
A little something I've been working on. Oh, so sorry. I hit her with the freaking headset.
We don't have a couple of minutes.
We won't. Just shut up, all right?
All right.
Even my grandfather.
That's too much.
Okay. Even he called me donkey boy.
Okay. I can't see.
You're so bony.
Ow! What did I just hit?
Nothing. Those are my nuts. I'm a man.
Get rolled with the fever on the dance floor. Step to the side. You gotta rap when time. My clothes are falling off.
Yeah, mine too.
What's he doing here?
Maybe he could help us. Shut up. It's the shopkeeper.
I know who he is, dumbass.
Damn it, I'm sorry.
It's the shopkeeper.
I can grant you the might to overpower any foe.
Okay, well, I just got hit because he didn't protect me.
Good.
Why don't you shut your mouth
Why don't
when
you
I'm
get
talking
your
to you?
head chopped off, all right?
Can you tell him to stop making a terrible face?
I'm making a sexy face. One cracker each, please.
Yeah, one cracker each. You sneezing? What was that?
Nothing. One cracker each.
Yeah, one cracker each.
Jake, are you looking into the camera lens?
I am. I forgot.
Would you guys mind terribly if I kept it at we like being stupid? I kind of like that we're kind of a team now.
I should know my way around this place, but it's weird. I mean, I'm not supposed to be in here with you, okay?
What?
This is Dota, stupid. Anything could happen.
If you call me stupid one more time.
Do not flick my crystal! Wait a minute. That's a courier.
Touch me again, die. To the key! Watch out, jackass!
Hey!
What a good sport. What a good sport. Such a good sport, that stagehand. And he never came back. I don't know what happened.
I love games so much. Sorry. Every time I watch it, I have to laugh at that last part.
He's the best part.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Oh, and you too. You were great.
Oh, you were great, Casey.
No, you were great.
You know, you are so good at this.
Okay.
You are so great.
We've had
We're
about
great.
enough of this. All right. Did you? Are you?
What?
Are you ready?
Yeah. What? What are we doing?
Are you ready to talk to your fans?
Oh, gross. All right. Hello, fans.
Hello.
Hello. How was that game?
Raise the obelisk.
Yes. Good stuff. Wonderful.
What'd you guys think of that last game? Amazing, right? How do you think the next one's gonna go? Who?
TNC's gonna win.
TNC. Whoa.
Round number 2.
Oh. If TNC loses, is OG versus TNC again, though?
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
Wow, rough crowd. Rough crowd. We're gonna send it back to you guys before things get really crazy.
Thank you. I gotta say, I love the outtakes almost as much as I like the final edited piece. I just wish they would have shown him flying on the courier. I want to see that next year. Get the real donkey to fly. Yes, a literal flying donkey. The technology is there. Looks like the teams are headed back out, and out in the gallery we see that the fans are rooting for TNC. And I gotta say, there were some favorites that didn't perform up to the skill level that we expected. TNC's a different story. They were so neck and neck with LFY that entire game.
They could have won the game for sure. They even had a point where we thought that they actually won.
Yep.
When they got a couple of kills and were heading for their base, but they just couldn't manage to finish it.
We got ready to come out, and then we sat back down again, and the game just continued to go on. And it was like so close. It wasn't, you know, sometimes in the typical Alchemist game fashion where it's, well, is he going to be able to get to his farm early enough? Yes or no. It winds up being that binary. A lot of times you don't see Alchemist games that just kind of stay that close for that long, with Oggs just continuing to get fed to his teammates.
Oggs. That was great.
Oggs.
I've never heard it like that.
Yeah, of course. And I don't say rather, I say rather. Therefore, Oggonyms.
Yeah, it was good. TNC won a lot of fans over last year, and you can see that support here in the crowd today. They're bringing in some great games. I'm pretty sure everybody just wants a game 3, though.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to like Alchemist, I think they did an okay job of kind of keeping up. They were able to hold high ground, which was really important. But Alchemist became like, he had so much net worth, and the Razor and the Sand King cores, they really just weren't able to support him in the way they needed to win that game. It was just Alchemist versus the world.
They needed to end the game earlier. I think Inflame did a really good job of delaying the game to get to the point where they did need to win that game. Also, I think that whole game 1 draft was kind of targeted at Super and kind of saying, okay, what else can you play besides Medusa, Death Prophet, and Dragon Knight? And you talked about the DK being a block pick, and they kind of put him to the test, and Super did deliver. So now we may see TNC take a different strategy for game number 2.
I want to ask about the Razor pick, because I know that that's consistently been the one hero that seemed a little bit suspect as the game went on. Is there an alternative pick that you'd like to see, or just a general mindset shift away from that type of hero?
I think they had a very kind of structured strategy coming into this. I think 1437's a really clever captain and a really smart drafter. So what he did was he banned the Medusa, he banned the Death Prophet, and he said, "Hey, take Dragon Knight. I'll pick this Razor, and if you try to lane a Dragon Knight there, I'll take advantage of that lane matchup." And I think that was maybe Razor should have been a reactionary pick rather than just assuming that LFY would go for Dragon Knight. I think they're too smart and too talented of a team to make that mistake. So that was a little bit of a...
It's just downside of not wanting to show the last pick, because they needed to pick something for 4th, and they probably don't want to pick the Alchemist there, because then they give the opponent...
Last pick Alchemist was a... Yeah. We saw TNC almost took it with that. It's a strong last pick.
And in terms of, the Dragon Knight style push composition, we've talked before about how LFY was ending games very, very quickly in group stages, but that really showed a very strong long-term late game. I mean, what is it about LFI that was so exceptional in those later periods of the game?
Ben was talking about how they were able to delay the game and defend their high ground and extend the game long enough for all 3 of their cores to find farm, whereas the Alchemist was kind of the only person farming on TNC's side. So once they kind of got to like 5 or 6 item slots, they were actually able to fight against the Alchemist and compete in a team fight.
Your first thing that you really want to do is to either shut down the Alchemist to make sure that he doesn't reach that point with the Radiance so quick. Yeah. But if he actually does that, then you should avoid fighting him as much as possible and just make sure that you get the farm on the other 3 heroes, which they did. So it was Prophet, Puck, and which other hero was it that they had? The Terrorblade. Yeah. So both of those 3 were after the Alchemist, before the other heroes came out.
At a certain point, Alchemist is always going to find his farm. It's almost like playing against an anti-mage. Anti-mage is going to farm. That's what he does. So you just need to try and keep up as best you can.
There were also some periods in the mid-game where we saw TNC just losing 1 hero at a time, just pick-offs continued to happen. Do you think that was one of the big periods where they lost their momentum in the game? I mean, Aki, I remember you were talking a bit about that.
Yeah, it comes down to the Night Stalker being able to run around and catch people, basically. And they also have the Prophet and Terrorblade who's split pushing a lot, so it's very hard for TNC to actually find a team fight that they want to take. So that's why they got picked off, I think. They tried to push their limits to get out of the map and try to take a team fight.
Certainly gave some space for Alchemist to farm, but it wasn't quite enough. And at this point, teams have let us know that they are ready for game number 2. It's going to be LFY currently leading 1-0 against TNC. Will TNC make the comeback and tie it up, or will LFY close it out? Let's find out.
LFY versus TNC Pro Team. Game 2.
Talk a little bit more about that Night Stalker Furion opening from LFY. The more I think about it, the more I like it. They're able to split push while also reducing the vision of TNC, which made them feel like they needed to spread out and handle the lanes. But when they spread out, that's when Night Stalker used his vision advantage to find some opportune kills.
Oh, that's a great point, yeah. Almost encouraging them to have to respond in the way where Night Stalker would be strong.
Exactly. It's, hey, are you going to let us split push all day, or are you going to try and combat us?
TNC starts off right away saying, you know what, Night Stalker was a pain in the ass last game, Insta-Bat Rider, and oh, I love a Faceless Void in any game.
This is a good combo to start with, as we've been talking about before. Void really lacks damage in the chrono, and A can really help him with that throughout the whole map.
LFY picking up some combinations. I think that Night Stalker Furion is something that we need to look out from them in the future, and now Void A being an alternate opener for them. Void is a hero that actually lanes pretty decently against Batrider compared to most. He's got the leap to get away, and also you can use time dilation if you skill it early enough in lane to stop Batrider from stacking the sticky napalms on top of you.
Also a good Lincoln's carrier. We see Naga openers a lot. I think we've seen 3 Nagas in the first phase, but however, it hasn't been versus Faceless Void. And I think this is really where the hero does shine, is counter-initiating against the Chronosphere.
I think we've seen it once, and yeah, it was super good that game, so I can really see it work this game as well. He just needs to stay behind and make sure that he can get the sleep off whenever Void uses his ultimate.
And Faceless Void we've seen run in the 1 position, in the hard carry position for several teams. Do you think that this is more of how he's balanced around, or do you think that he's still a perfectly capable offlaner in the current meta?
I saw Empire Resolution played. I think that Void can be one of the hardest carries in the game in the late game due to his bash mechanics and his large agility gain. But he's a very versatile hero, which makes him a great first pick in the first phase. So I think you just have to wait and see where the game goes and decide whether or not you really want to put Void in that 1 position. I think it fits Resolution's style more as a player for him to play that as a 1. He generally plays these incredibly hard carries, more so than other 1 position players.
Yeah. In terms of the bans, we see increasingly the same consistent set of 5 heroes, just never to be seen upon the main stage. Nyx Assassin, Lich, Night Stalker, Earthshaker, and Batrider very frequently banned. We will see Batrider this game. Phantom Lancer also chucked out by LFY.
Yeah, TNC really, we saw at the end of that last game, LFY was focusing on bursting down the Naga before that sleep came out. So banning out the Shaker is going to prevent him from being bursted. Protecting your Naga so that way you can always get off to sleep and set you guys up for the fight is what they will want.
In this draft from LFY, I don't really think it has a good potential to end the game in 15 or 20. So TNC, I don't think have to worry about some super heavy push like they did have to last game with the Furion opener. TNC can go for something a little bit slower. I think something like Tinker that Cuckoo has played is pretty good versus this type of lineup. You want a Blink hero that can get out, and a lot of his counters are already taken out the pool. Night Stalker,
TNC has played Tinker this tournament, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the heroes they do like. I like the idea of them focusing more on the split push style and having vision from the Naga illusions spread out throughout the map, have some Firefly vision as well to keep track of this Void. Being able to find Void and either stay away from him or be prepared for that Chronosphere coming in, having your Naga in the opportune position to sleep after that Chronosphere is going to be a huge key for them.
Yeah. And of course, for anyone listening at home, Furion is an alternative name for Nature's Prophet. Those are the same heroes.
Yeah, sorry, we got some Dota 1.
Oh yeah,
here.
so yeah, same way that Wisp is another name for Io, and of course when I first started playing Nature's Prophet, people were saying, "Who's this idiot Fur?" And I was like, "Well, that's not my name, so I'm totally in the clear. I don't know who the idiot Fur is, but probably a tough guy to have on the team."
Got the counter to bat here now. Kunkka with his X mark.
Yes. Your teammate gets lassoed, you X your teammate and slurp him right back out of that lasso.
What's the range on X marks the spot and Naga sleep? Can you, is it like...
Naga's 1,000, 1,400, 1,800 on the radius. Kunkka, I'm not exactly sure.
If you get an Aether Lens on Kunkka, can you X people while they're TPing from sleep?
I think
Very
so.
likely.
Yeah. Even without, maybe?
Yeah, even without, I think you can. At least a level 1.
Oracle is a hero that TNC has been picking a lot, and most of the times they've been picking it with Sven, so it's not like other teams who usually picks it as a counter to Batrider or the Beastmaster Ultimate. They pick it with a carry that's a melee carry that really wants to run around and hit people, so they like using the ultimate more in a way to make sure that their carry can hit people.
There's that Furion again.
I'm not so sure if I like Sven here though, because they have Void. It's okay, I guess, to burst him down, but...
Oracle pick is weird for me. Generally, we see Oracle, he matches up pretty well. We've seen Alchemist, even like Huskar back in the day, and there's an Ancient Apparition in the first 2, and of course Oracle can make his teammates magic immune, so they don't have to deal with that Ancient Apparition blast, but they also can't heal during that.
I think a lot of teams like it versus the Kunkka as a X.
Oh, it's really great against Kunkka.
It's great against that initiation.
You make your teammate totally immune to whatever's happening to him.
But not so great perhaps versus the other ones. Nature's Prophet not picked very often versus Batrider. I think Nature's Prophet struggles to get a lot of farm when there's a bat in the game.
Just because the Batrider can pounce in and lasso him back when he's attempting to split push?
Yes. it was pretty terrifying back when Flame Break also canceled TPs. It's still a problem.
Also, once you finally get a hold of that Furion, he doesn't really have a lot of great tools to escape. He's a very immobile hero. So if the Batrider gets on top of him with the Firefly, he's most likely going to go down.
And, you know, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to how to think of Oracle, because he's one of those heroes where you read the abilities, and it's hard to even know how the hell he operates, let alone what his function is in the team.
He's a very defensive support. He's there to stand behind his teammates and make sure just protect everybody, whether it's through his ultimate or through his Magic Community spell, which I have no idea what the name is. Oracle, not one of my specialties.
Fate's Edict. He's also very offensive too, surprisingly.
He can be, yeah. In the hands of the right player.
I think it's one of the hardest supports to play because it's a really fine line between saving an opponent and like, killing him, and to save an ally or kill your ally as well. So it's super hard to know exactly when to use the spells.
So when the Sinking pick, it pushes Naga to position 1. I don't know, you don't like it that much?
You think so?
I think so. I
Could be. Well, at this point, all four of these can operate as supports, and it seems like Naga Siren is one of the few that can operate also as a long-term core.
I think it has to be a 1 here.
Naga Core. I do like Naga Core against. I like Naga Core against Void, but I'm just concerned that I generally like the support Naga because he's focused on one thing, which is casting sleep during that Chronosphere and protecting his teammates. Oftentimes, when you're playing a core Naga, you want to be in there fighting, so he's very susceptible to actually being in that Chronosphere.
Yeah.
Himself.
And I think also it leaves him vulnerable to getting pushed down early. Even though they have a Faceless Void, they can easily push it to, I don't know, just push with it with an early Vlad's, a change of the builds that we've commonly seen.
It's not really the best here with Oracle as well. I would say, like, it's not.
Yeah,
that you will ulti the Naga and then he will like run in and just.
Yeah, it's not that it's bad. There's just not a lot of synergy.
Yeah.
Sand King, however, picked again for TNC. This is a hero that they matched up last game versus Nature's Prophet, and Sam H had a really great early game and had a huge impact throughout the entire game.
We probably won't see an aggro tire this game though with Naga and Oracle, I guess. They could though against the Void.
Yeah, Naga's a pretty solid aggro tri-laner actually.
For sure.
And at this point, we also see the Huskar and Alchemist banned out. Huskar, traditional. Wow. Yes.
Here it comes.
My goodness, Broodmother.
Whoa.
So this has got to be Naga Siren in the safe lane and Broodmother in the mid lane. So there's going to be just a lot of pushing from TNC to give space to Naga until Naga can come online.
Yeah, we'll probably aggro try, as we spoke a little bit about with the Naga against the Void, because they again have the Sand King against the Nature's Prophet, which really worked well the last game.
So is it going to be support bad or support?
That's
Oracle Sand King, I think.
Oracle Sand King supports.
So then maybe
Naga mid, perhaps.
Well, they have to come up with a superhero really quickly that can deal with Broodmother. The old counter was Bristleback.
Axe.
Sounds like a superhero.
Tidehunter.
Well, we've seen Broodmother played in mid lane from Matumba Man previously in the tournament and just stomped almost every matchup.
I like Tidehunter, man. I'm not a big fan of Tidehunter at all, but it could work with our Bristleback. It is.
Bristleback.
He lanes really well.
I guess the Brood can go offlane as well, yeah, because the Void is very bad against him. Cookie is taking it though, so it's gonna be mid, right?
Yeah.
Wow, and super mid on Bristleback. An interesting lineup. Very excited to see Naga Siren that is traditionally played in support in this tournament, taking the position 1. Casters, take us to game 2.
Thank you very much, Day 9. And what a setup we have here for this game 2. We had an incredible game 1 for game 2. TNC switching things up a little bit. We're having a core Naga come out.
Yeah.
And this final pick, the Broodmother, it is instantly responded to by the Bristle that Peter mentioned, does have its strengths. What are we thinking overall?
I was just confused when I'm watching TNC's draft just because how many curveballs they're throwing in, but they did address a lot of the aspects here. The Oracle pick versus the Kunkka is amazing. Probably one of the best. You counteract literally everything that comes out there. They get the Sand King matchup versus the Nature's Prophet as well, and then they get their Broodmother pick. But now it's Broodmother versus Bristle. It's a bit different. I'm not too crazy about TNC's draft overall.
Okay.
I think they're going to struggle a lot to really take any fights versus LFY. And I've seen Inflame on this Nature's Prophet over and over again, what he can actually do, how much he can dismantle lanes. So I'm personally liking what LFY's got and how much they can actually team fight with, and the fact that they actually have like physical damage to force it. Only physical damage from TNC at all really is the Broodmother to push those buildings.
I mean, as I said, mentioning that mid lane and mentioning this Broodmother, how bad is it for Cuckoo that there's a Bristle there? I mean, is Cuckoo still going to do fine in lane, or could he get totally beaten out of the lane in this matchup?
It's a hard lane. It's a really good matchup for Bristleback. You always farm. They both kind of trade farm versus each other, but you have to watch your position of the quills. And Broodmother, ideally, you want to be able to have kill potential on the enemy mid laner, and you just don't versus a Bristle, unless you have like some rotations coming.
Well, we'll see how TNC react to this, whether they want to send in an extra bit of help towards that mid lane, or if they do sort of go for the lane swaps. But I feel like the lane swaps very unlikely, really, with Cuckoo already on that Brood, already heading towards the mid.
So also for the panel, because they were talking about this interaction between Kunkka and Sleep. The Sleep goes from 1,000 to 1,200 to 1,400, I believe it is, when I was looking at it before. And the X is only 1,000. So if you get an Aether Lens, you can actually X through 2 levels of it. But it's
very much on the edge.
It's borderline on the edge of the level 2 one. So it can happen, but that's about it.
Let's see what we have going on here. See if we have any sort of early smokes and rotations during this rune spawning, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. It's both sides seemingly securing their own. It is, by the looks of it, going to be that laning that Ake sort of mentioned on the panel, the aggressive tri-lane from TNC. They've sent Raven down towards the bottom lane.
And they're putting the Bat mid versus the Bristle and putting Nature's Prophet, or the Broodmother versus the Nature's Prophet. So that's a little bit better overall. Brood will at least have a very good matchup here, and I don't think that LFY is going to expect this one coming out. They see them that mid, and now they see the Bat.
Okay, they made the move. We'll see how LFY do respond.
Bristle can do fine in this too, though. You just get a magic stick brought out, and you can farm perfectly fine. Both of them probably will do exactly that, bring out wands, and we'll have some trade farm. Super just has to watch how many sticky stacks early on until he gets a couple points in that Bristle back, so he doesn't have to worry about the dive.
Yeah, so all in all, with this switch around towards the mid and the top and having this aggro try, it certainly feels like this is TNC getting the lanes that they want coming into this matchup.
Yeah, I'd say TNC win the lanes a little bit here, just because that, aggro. And Kunkka, AA, not really the best heroes in a try versus try, unless they can find people on the side. Once they get some levels, sure, they're super strong, but they need that for certain. Once they have the Chilling Touch, once they have Cold Feet combo with X, then they have high kill threat. So if TNC can punish the first 2 waves, it's perfect, but once it gets, first 2 levels, it's perfect, but afterwards, they have to be super careful of their positioning versus this Kunkka and AA. Lots of damage coming out from the AA Chilling Touch.
Yeah, and a stray torrent setting up for the Cold Feet to kick in could certainly result in a kill. Let's try there onto Arfu. All to set up with the root and the hole coming through from 1437.
Exactly what they
bring
need
this
to do.
Man down really low. Arfu tried to throw the torrent to block it, but Raven jukes it out, going in for the kill.
Oh, they get the first blood on Monet.
Yeah, he gets it first.
That's what they need to do, though. TNC needs to try to make that blow happen right at level 1, but
that must have been fractions of a second that Monet got that in time. But he did indeed that extra 100 or so bonus down to the first blood. Very much welcomed here on this safe lane for LFY.
Yeah. And I don't know, I'm pretty in fear of TNC keeping that tri-lane down there now, to be quite honest with you. If they expended a lot of their resources, they used a lot of regen, they used a lot of their mana as well, and they're playing into a first blood, a Void who just got first blood. So he gets that surge of gold, he's able to pick up his wand, or pick up his stick, and he already has 6 stick charges. It's going to be very hard to threaten this Void. They can kill the supports, but actually testing the Void's farm is very difficult for them.
Looking at the other lanes as well, we have a slight edge in the mid lane here for Samage. But I guess it's about a 5-6, it's about a wave or such ahead of the Bristleback. So making use of this slightly favoured advantage, but as you say, the wand is out onto Super, has 10 stick charges. Very unlikely for this Bristle to die in this matchup, just to be kept a little behind when it comes to CS. And on the top lane as well, in Flame, slight edge for him as well. We saw them fighting around with sentries down and such, but the quicker D ward was out from Cuckoo.
The nice thing is you can always just TP out because there's no stun from the Broodmother, but Brood can overwhelm at one point with too many Spiderlings, and you have to play pretty fearful on the Nature's Prophet. I don't really see this matchup happen too often. It's been a very long time since I see a Nature's Prophet versus Brood.
Bottom lane again. Down to Arfu, just holding him at bay though. And to bring Monet down low. To still have the salve, 8 stick charges still being saved up on the Void. So very hard really for any of the games, any of the lanes to get the kills early on. So everyone has potential to turn, potential to hit back.
I'd say after the first blood, LFY is leading quite a decent margin. They're not really slowing down the Void, which is the way they're trying to.
There we go again. They are going to make the jump in onto DDC, getting nuked down low by the Purifying Flames. Raven picks up the kill. Monet has jumped forward. He's looking for 1437. A Bash would do it. Doing a time walk under the tower will secure the finisher. Raven punish this. It doesn't look like Ian will have to let it go, so again, just the 1-for-1 trade.
Flame TP's in though, and they're actually making the lane adjustment. They don't feel like Bristle wants to be versus the bat at this point. They want to put the Fury on mid, perhaps. Or Nature's Prophet mid. I'm going to say Fury in a lot, just putting that out there.
And Super up towards the top lane. And this is going to mean no space for Sam. But actually, Cuckoo...
They're moving the lanes.
Yeah, they're moving it in response. TNC wanting to make sure that they can keep tabs on Super's Bristle by having the bat against him rather than this Broodmother. See what the call is from LFY if they want to make the move again, but TNC just doing their best to keep a step ahead in terms of the lane matchups.
I love when these kind of lane swaps happen. I hope another one happens. I like when you just see people like TPing back and forth and everyone's like following around. It just looks fun.
Becomes very chaotic between the sides. And farm for both the safe laners, Raven.
He's still farming on the Nog at least.
Him and Monet on the same track at the moment. Pretty much equal in experience and CS. Both getting what they came for down in this bottom lane, which maybe is not as good of a sign for TNC. Perhaps they were expecting to be able to slow down this Void a little bit more than they are. But at the moment, as it has been, Mono, he's got himself involved in 2 kills.
He's got Treads over Venom. He's perfectly fine. What's going on here? They're making a committed play onto here, but Inflame is keeping into the back for TNC.
Yeah, they're going to look to try and turn it. LFY Sprout out, but immediately
the blocks.
Trying to make that cold feet proc, but can't quite get enough of the block stop. But we saw how close it was there. If they are able to achieve that sort of a play.
And how much damage comes out. Like as soon as Inflame TPs, you see DDC throws the Chilling Touch on him for that bonus damage. But now it's 5 minutes in. If Inflame wants to, he can try to siege a bit with this Catapult Wave, but he doesn't want to split the 4-way experience. Wants to be efficient with his resources.
And they move Cuckoo down here as well. You know, wherever the pressure is, they try and get the Broodmother in that lane to sort of slow it down.
They might be able to get Super here mid. He's pretty far out, and they have Lasso on Sam H.
Yeah, they've certainly got their reposition. He's already got 2 stacks upon him. There's the drag back. At the same time, Kukul actually gets a solo kill by the looks of it down on the Kunkka as well. Gets the action done, so kill in the mid lane, a freebie for Cuckoo down bottom. I'm not quite sure how he got away with that, but still with the AA and the Void in the neighborhood, but must have just overwhelmed him with the spiders, as you talked about.
They don't really have good ways to deal with the Brood besides the Bristle still at this point. Early levels, these Spiderlings, AA and Kunkka, are super susceptible to dying to them just if they step out of position. And now he's level 6, so the spiders are starting to add up, and the damage is pretty absurd versus these low armor heroes like the AA.
Sam H just on the search to see if there's any sort of stacks being created for LFY. He'll get his eyes onto DDC though. In fact, with the Raven Naga being in the neighborhood, they can go for this one. Money's going to try and come in to slow them down. The Torrent will connect.
With the Nature's Prophet ult.
And that's going to bring him down. The Nature's Wrath doing huge amounts. DDC actually ends up surviving as he gets himself away. They'll try and trap Raven with the Sprout, but he cuts himself out. So nice turnaround there from LFY. And again, Cuckoo says, you want to go to that lane? I'll come to that lane as well. This spooky spider trying to do his best to instill himself in the nightmares of LFY.
Perfect by Inflame though, like that's why we see him decide not to go for that tower pressure, right? He goes to the jungle so he can make sure he gets that level 6 at a very early time to get involved with that Wrath of Nature. Because the damage on it early on, it's very unexpected. People always forget about that Nature's Prophet ultimate bouncing around right around that 7-minute or 6-minute period. Tims, they've pretty much parked him out toward that top lane for the time being to farm, while everybody else is kind of making the moves around the map. Apu wants to punish though. The Dust is online with the Sentries, gets the Torrent connection too.
Does still have the Burrow Strike. As long as he can save it until after the X-Mark bring back, he may have a chance here. Holds onto it, there he goes.
He's TPing out.
And he should make it. No way without the Torrent and the X-Mark to hold him back. So nice little play there to get Tims out of it.
But they force him completely out of the lane, and that lead gives Inflame a completely free one. And yeah, Sanking's not farming doing that.
And Cuckoo's moving again. I mean, he made the move all the way towards the mid lane. Now he's back down towards the bottom. He's going to look to put some pressure on Monet. Has still got a fair amount of spiders.
It's scary. Like, honestly, Cuckoo's making a lot of moves around. He can get hit killing stuff, but his net worth is starting to suffer because of how much he has to move around. It's only 2,800 net worth. Of course, it's the same as the Nature's Prophet, but this was the last pick Brood. You know, this is supposed to be like last pick Brood. This is the game winner, and it's not really having that effect so far in the laning phase.
Top lane. Tims towards farming up that blink. We are going to see the setup there by the Torrent.
They've got Wrath of Nature this time, and then they know the TP is still on cooldown for
Still
Tims.
a tricky one to catch.
Yeah.
Arfu, he did have the X-Mark, but of course wouldn't have the secondary Torrent to combo it with.
Scary to dive. Diving under towers, their damage isn't really that great, so they got to just wait it out, find a better opportunity for that one. But yeah, LFY, going out of the laning phase, their team fight is way stronger than TNC. TNC wants to split up the map and get pickoffs, and have the Broodmother kind of dominate the lane while the rest of them fight elsewhere, and use the Naga Sleep to avoid those fights. But it's very hard for them to avoid fights with the momentum that LFY will be gaining once they've got the Vanguard on the Bristle to force buildings.
SamH just seeing what he can do here, has found himself a double stack.
Oh, convenient, probably.
Just clear it up. I mean, this is going to put him very close to that Blink Dagger. 1600 at the moment. It's going to get them large camp as well by the looks of it.
The Dream Creeps, the Ancient Prowlers, so amazing for Batrider and like Shadow Fiend, like these heroes that farm with magic damage. And getting an Arcane Rune, he's going to have Firefly up again in no time to be able to continue that. And like you said, yeah, Blink going to be at a very good time. So they can maybe play around that one and try to get some pickups onto the Nature's Prophet or the Void. The Bristle's starting to get pretty tanky though.
Alfu up top, looking to set up, does get the X-Mark into the torrent, onto Tim's. He will go for the Sandstorm, but the dust is out. Presence of Inflame and DDC. And more than enough damage there with the Chilling Touch to claim Tim's life.
Monet just wants to have no business with a Broodmother. Moves out of that bottom lane. It's starting to become overwhelming with the amount of spiders. And Kuko's going to be able to pressure that tower quite a lot. He's actually going to kill this bottom tower super quickly with that Brood. And now maybe they try to make a move with the Chrono, but they want to instead do their own pressure at the same time. How's our levels looking on supports? We're 4 and 4 on Oracle and Kunkka, and Sanking AA are both level 5. So they're doing, as expected, the Tome is now online for the 10-minute mark for those 6s.
Super trying to farm out some of the spiders here, but don't quite get the finishing Quill Spray Splurt to do so. In the line, mid lane, Monet manning up onto 1437, not quite finding the bashes though. Does have this Chrono, he sees a chance to finish off a kill. And Inflame with the drums, definitely a pickup that can help enable the Void. You know, get that Chrono, get the Natures in, pop the drums charge.
It's just such a good item on Nature's Prophet.
Yeah. Making a bit of a try here, but
they actually forced the Chrono out.
And with the disarm, can they actually keep Kuku alive? Looks like they can. Very nicely done. The Chrono baited out, and TNC lose nothing.
2 minutes, no Chrono. But what can they make of it? They use the Batrider Lasso. He's going to have Blink Dagger soon. They can try to make a play around that one.
Super trying to keep control of SamH down at this bottom lane. Super's still at the top of the net worth. Not moving in. SamH does need help. In fact, Super's going to be the one to tell. Inflame TP's in. Firefly. Was it they could do anything about this? Get some sort of a grab. They have the route onto the Bristle. He's the hardest target to go on. They are going to try and make
the X
as they drain back, but indeed, Alfu breaks it with the X, meaning the Tim's Epicenter not quite in range. Now they get back in, but Tim,
oh no!
This is Bristleback getting to his full potential. The false promise!
Beautiful, but
very nicely done by 1437, and with the heal, that should be enough to keep Tim's alive. Very clutch save there from the Oracle. And they do bring down Super, that big old kill. That's given the money for Sam to finish off the Blink Dagger. Very nicely done there.
Defending that tower too, that early tier 1.
Maybe see if they can get anything straight off the back of it. Looking towards Alfu. Oh, DDC, got a bit of a spider problem.
Oh, the Centaur stun. Hits Cuckoo. Trying to help out DDC.
Tim's there as well. Maybe they can look to try and catching out Mono in the mid lane. He is in the webs.
They have a lot of burst.
They are going to try and close it in at the same time. Bottom lane, Sama, he did get the kill on Arfu, so they get the kill top. They get the pick off bottom. Now Super, sort of on his own here. He's stuck in the Firefly. Same time, a lot of Quill Spray stacks building up onto the members of TNC, so they have to be careful. Raven will hold back the Bristle with the net. And he will continue to be chased. I mean, Super knows that there's no shrine here, as it's already been used. He's going to dive in for this one.
Okay, committing. Inflame still not TPing in.
3 Quill Spray stacks on Raven. I don't know, can 1437 save this? He hasn't quite got false promise, I don't think. He's got the Face Edict and the Purifying Flames, trying to heal him back up. And maybe Super's now overstepped the mark. He Flame broken back. Stick charges are used. Purifying Flames, nuking him down low. But 1437 didn't quite have the mana to purge it. back off, so Super's only going to get healed up from this. Cuckoo coming in with the rotation, the boat in onto the spiders, it's not going to connect. Monet does find the chrono onto Cuckoo, the bash there as well. They'll bring down Brood as well.
Those are huge kills there. Super just with no fear whatsoever. He knows his team is going to be coming for the backup eventually. And this is the problem we're talking about.
Yeah.
This Bristleback with the Vanguard. He's building toward the hood as well to deal with that heavy magic damage that TNC does have. And then after that, there is really limited chances for him to kill this Bristle.
Yeah, the damage certainly lacking from TNC at this stage of the game in comparison to what you need to have a chance of bringing down a Bristle. Side, Tims. Playing around with DDC. LFY relatively low. DDC may just get taken down here, in fact. He's going to throw back an Ice Blast. But
the Sun actually goes up the mark.
He misses the Pyro Strike, and for that, Tims is paying with his life. The cold beat kicks in. DDC is the one to take the kill.
And they want to keep going.
They're looking for the Blind Torrent, won't quite get it. Jump forward for Samich with the lasso into the Purifying Flames. They get Arfu in return. But now, Super, he's got a hood complete. This Bristle is going to be a massive issue, especially considering the way that LFY are playing, grouping up as a team, or even just, letting Super enter the fights, hang around for 10 seconds, waiting for the backup. There's just very little chance that TNC can actually kill Super at this stage of the game.
They're trying to make, they're trying to fight and make space as much as possible for Raven. He is getting closer and closer toward that Radiance, 3,400 gold. So that's going to help a bit, but he's still very squishy and they're still very susceptible to the team fight of LFY.
Seeing the build as well from Cuckoo this game is the he's going to phase straight into the Solar Crest, right?
That's the build we saw Matu doing, yeah. Just the sheer damage that you can do with the Spiderlings. You can not only increase your farm rate, it gives you mana regen. It's just a really good item choice.
I mean, absolutely. If he gets himself on either Arfu or TDC, very little they can do to give him a life. I mean, we're going to see him make a bit of a go now. Just ready with the Medallion and the Spiders, bringing Arfu down very quickly.
Reluctant to commit, though.
Yeah, a little scared about fighting around this tier 1 tower towards the mid lane. At the moment, members of LFY closer towards that top tier 2. Trying to see if they can get the push on there. Monet. So the timing is going to be on the chrono. Yes, back up in 3 seconds. So they want to try and do something with this Faceless Void. As the Mask of Madness, the build from him by the looks of it, going to be straight into the Maelstrom. And then the Lincoln's Field. And they'll go for this here. Pushing in on the top lane. Again, another very tricky hold for TNC to even try and attempt against this Chronosphere. So by the looks of it, they will just let it go. But this is scary now. LFY 16 minutes in, really getting some traction, taking these objectives. And TNC not finding towers in return. Definitely the biggest trade-off being the fact they're getting farmed.
Oh, they actually...
For the Nago now. Yeah, Arfu whiffing the combo there. Looks like he went for the Blind Torrent, but didn't quite have the X-Mark back up to make the play in terms of control. But yeah, this is the thing. TNC all in all, the trade is that they are getting this farm on Raven. He has got that relic. He's halfway through the recipe gold. They're going to make an attempt on Super, but I don't know if they get away with this. They're going in with the they cannot kill this man. Backup is there now in the form of Arthur in Flame, and they're just going to look to turn. The dust is out onto Tims. He's sprouted up. Can't get himself out of this one. He's got the Pyro Strike. Super continue to move forward. A couple of Quill Sprays will do it. Oh, just the one actually. Super bursts him down.
That's their lasso and their epicenter committal to. That's their big team fight slash pickoff heroes, and they barely even drop him below half life.
Definitely a mistake for TNC to try and make that play. They can't afford to do that, especially that close to a tier 2 tower.
And making these mistakes is super crucial. Like these mistakes is what costs you the game. Their Nature's Prophet's able to claim a tier 2. The Void is just farming in all the meanwhile. They need to get kills in with those type of double ult committals. Super now looking for Sam H. Actually forces him just to TP out bottom.
Cuckoo again. Comes on to Monet.
You see the itemization coming out from LFY.
Monet just goes for it. Jumps in. Absolutely no messing around. And with the Ice Blast coming through as well as the big old shark, there's no hope for Cuckoo. And TNC may be losing their cool a little bit here as LFY are getting some very easy pickoffs.
Still only a slight lead for them, but still LFY is looking really strong with their 5-man.
There is that Radiance though. So it's all about how much TNC can rely on the core Naga Siren to pull them through this game.
Bottom lane looks like they're going for Sam H here. With the Wrath of Nature, the X-Play coming out, Sam H is in deep trouble here.
Again, this combo from Arfu.
And it's going to lead into a tower as well.
Maybe even more with Inflame in the neighborhood.
Yeah, maybe they go for 2 here. They could. There is a sleep that is still up though, so maybe they're a little bit afraid of that because they don't have Chrono. But they want to at least threaten a bit for some reaction.
Link Dagger now picked up by Tims, so they do have that extra potential to jump in and maybe even jump around Super, get to the back lines. As Super at the moment is not the target you want to be going on.
Well, look how far back they are. They're already prepared. The Illusion is kind of scouting out the AA, so they're trying to commit here for it. Maybe they can force all the TPs and try to isolate Super, but no, it's getting too far away at this point now. So yeah, look how the 3 cores on the side of L5, they're all itemizing toward being these late game kind of carry heroes. We see Nature's Prophet went for the Shadow Blade, going for the Orchid. We see the Void, we already mentioned that one. Mask of Madness into Linken's Maelstrom. He's the 1 Void, of course. And then we see Super. Got the Radiance queued up. That's going to be the big one to kind of match.
Top lane, they do manage to find one, and they have the Epicenter on the lasso, but he's still going to get the chance to try and walk out.
That's twice now the lasso on Epicenter.
It's not enough to take down TNC's cores. It really isn't.
Or Alpha-wise, yeah.
It's going to be spotted out. They've got the X-Mark drop back. Actually,
doesn't miss.
Off with the timing there. Not quite there with the combo this time around, Arfu, and that is going to mean that Cuckoo gets away with his life intact. Did have 1437 in the neighborhood, so maybe even if they got the trap, he would have been there with a false promise save, but still.
Rare mistakes coming out from both Afu and from Tims this game.
It's under attack.
How's Super doing towards his relic? Very close.
Very close.
Very close to having that done on this Bristle as well.
3k gold lead now going their way.
Definitely still with the edge of this game, and definitely still the issue being that we're seeing Super and Monet being attempted upon with these ganks, these takedowns, but
unable to get caught. That's pre-Lincoln.
Quite do it.
That's pre-Lincoln's Void, and they can't even bring him down. When he's got Lincoln's, I don't see how they actually get him unless they've got like 3 or 4 hero committal.
Really is the problem here for TNC. They need time, they need space for Raven.
LFY seems very content with this pace of the game too. They're not trying to like force too much action. Even when Chrono is up, they're not really trying to force anything to happen. They're just like, let it come to us. Let the kills naturally happen when TNC tries to go on the aggressive. Look where Monet's just been perched up. I think he's been up here for the last like 4 minutes just farming these creep waves and this enemy jungle.
I mean, yeah, this is crazy farm for him. 21 minutes and nearly has that Lincoln's on top of the Mask of Madness. And as you said, with that as well, how do TNC even think about bringing down this Void?
They spot. They look like they know where Cuckoo is. They actually get the dust on him too. And the Blind Torrent.
Blind Torrent does connect this time round. The boat flying in with the X-Mark bring back. There's no escape for the Spider. LFY.
Apu's just warming up.
Plays like that. Definitely impressing. Top lane TNC. They are going to try for this. I mean, do they get away with it? I feel it's going to be hard. Yeah, he drops the Chrono.
It actually gets the bat.
It does indeed. It stops the bat right on the very tip of it. And I mean, it's enough to hold it back. But Monet does. He time walked in aggressively there.
The Conquer Torrent actually. Oh, they actually hit the courier from him again, just like last game. So they actually, a cool thing that LFY did is, you know, they're playing versus a Broodmother, so they actually defensively warded their high ground. I didn't really notice that one too.
I mean, look at this. Monet is just forcing this 3-man gank that came in for him all the way back to their base.
No fear.
Even without Chrono, just time walking towards them, terrifying TNC.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Radiant's pretty much there for Super. 300 gold and he has it. A lot of catching up that TNC need to do. Raven nearly has the bots, but...
How do they kill this Bristle? How do they kill the Void? Both these two guys are super durable now and they have the exact things that they need to deal with TNC's aggression. And with that Radiance, that's going to be their timing. Maybe they can just go into the Roche pit with that LFY. With the Chronosphere once it's back up.
TNC are trying to make a move again towards this mid lane. Inflame has a double damage as well. Just a few seconds left on it though. Doesn't look like he will get the chance to make use of it. TNC not quite jumping in. And Inflame up top. Wow, sees Raven. Raven looks to get himself out of the tree line.
Damage with the instant TP and the sleep coming out.
I'm going to look to try and punish Inflame.
Do they ever reveal though? He's got a Shadow Blade. I don't think they ever reveal. He's gone.
Oh dear, oh dear. LFY.
But they seem to kind of know he's here. Okay, good. Gets the TP out. Bit scary, but not having dust, not having anyone, not having either of those heroes with the reveal picked up there.
Not feeling like the TNC that we saw in game 1.
No, definitely not. And he's had the Shadow Blade for quite a long time, so.
Maybe it's the draft, maybe it's just the flow of the game. I mean, LFY themselves, this decision to have Super on the Bristle has definitely worked out massively. Monet up top.
They know Raven's got no sleep top too.
Get this Chrono there with the Sprout cut down. That should buy time for Monet to close the gap, and indeed drops the Chrono. Ice Blast coming in. They do have a false promise. Do they have the heal to offset it though? He's still going to have that debuff on him, so he can't quite heal all the way up. We'll see if he pops. I think he may be safe, yeah, with that Fate's Edict blocking the magic damage. Raven will be kept alive. So they do manage to protect their Naga, which is, you know, TNC have to do everything in their power to make sure that Raven doesn't get bullied now, as he really is their only hope of having this strong core that can take them to the later portions of the game.
Looking for the Torrent again. He gets the dust off now, and Kuka looks to be in a lot of
the
trouble.
X-Mark into the boat. LFY, Monet, Super, Inflame surrounding the Spider, taking another down. 5k gold lead now for LFY.
TNC are smoked up. They were looking to try to get on the aggressive play here instantly when the Chrono was down, but just slightly too late. They're trying to position now around Raven, but in goes LFY into that Roche pit, and there is no way that TNC can contest this one. They are drawing the lines though. But it's going to die way too fast.
It's a completed Orchid on Inflame as well. And indeed, the Roshan's going to be gone. LFY claim the Aegis into the hands of Super. I mean, we've already seen how they struggled to kill him once. Killing him twice, definitely an impossible affair that TNC are going to be forced to try and tackle somehow once LFY start pushing down the lanes.
LFY plays super well around the Nature's Prophet. Just the way that he split pushes and always helps them like take fights on their own accord. It's amazing. Like they always have two lanes pretty much pushed in, even though TNC does have good ways to kind of react for it. They have good heroes to kind of force the lanes out with the Naga and with the Sand King, but every time Sand King shows, they know that the gank's not happening, and then Inflame just goes back top and continues that push up. So it's really hard for TNC to find those opportunities. And also, they can't group up either because of the nature of their lineup. They have a Broodmother, they have a Naga Siren. They can't team fight versus LFY. They need to find number advantages in those instances.
They are making this long smoke movement up towards the top lane, trying to catch off Inflame. So if they get away with this, I mean, he's still got the Shadow Blade. Of course, to still TP his way out. They are getting close. Inflame is sticking around.
They've got reveal
they have got the reveal this time indeed. Jump forward with the dust, lasso. They'll hold him back. That's a very, very much needed kill here for TNC as they finally catch out the Nature's Prophet.
Heavy committal though. They commit 3 heroes up there with the smoke, and in the meanwhile, Bristleback's farming bottom, Void's farming mid, and speaking of which, LFY are also smoked up, looking for a play. We do have the Aether Lens as well picked up on Afu, so he does have that extra cast range for his spells. So he can cast the Torrent and the X. The Torrent, you can actually cancel majority of the...
Oh, Cuckoo, he is going to walk into the 3 of them there. He does do have the detection. They dust him up, and with the freeze connect, they will come with the Burrow Strike, but indeed the Link is blocking the Burrow Strike. Monet will survive and still be able to get the kill. Now
lose a second.
Tim's saved there just in time by the false promise. 1437 trying to allow Tim's to get out of there, but 1437 will pay with his life. Tim's up to the high ground with the Burrow Strike.
Oh, 20 HP!
Survive.
Can't believe he survived there.
1437 making some very big plays. They do still have Chrono on Monet though. This is LFY killing 2, forcing these ultimates out, and still having potential to move in for more. Straight down to the bottom lane, they'll claim the tier 2.
He held the Chrono, that's the important thing, the whole time. Monet did have it.
Still got it. So if they find a chance to use it, I mean, still not too many reasons for LFY to hold back too much with this sort of pace that they're setting. Raven still working his way towards the Manta style. I mean, all things said, you know, considering the pressure that LFY put on, Raven's still doing a great job in terms of finding the farm. You know, it's up there, we're pretty much on par with the cause, other than Super, who really is starting to break ahead, of course, with his own radiance. But Raven, he's not getting totally shut down.
No. The thing is that, ideally, when you're playing like this, they actually are able to find 1437 out of the base.
If there's any saving him, Monet's there. If anyone comes in with backup, he's got the Chrono to spare, and he doesn't need it yet again. He's finding these pickoffs.
Such far range for them to find that catch with that Aether Lens Kunkka.
Still with that Aegis, they very well may be looking to go at Tiger. And again, another catch from Afu. X-Mark onto Sam. Just managed to force himself away from the Ice Blast.
Super doesn't care.
Diving in deep.
And the Chrono.
Drops the Chrono onto Raven. They've caught the Naga. Burrow Strike comes in from Tim's, trying to hold them back, but Raven's down for 50 seconds. Diving in deep. Raven will dive back, but TNC losing hero after hero. Cuckoo comes in with his BKB. Trying to see if he can bring anyone down in return. 1437 is on his way back, but they're sticking around. They are getting around below Afu and Super. Afu turns straight towards the Oracle, cuts him down with his blade. Sleeps there from Raven. But of course, Super still has that Aegis. He may be low, but there's By the looks of it, no chance they can even kill him down once. Cuckoo's just turned up.
That might just be it here.
TNC losing 4, none of them with buyback available. We'll see if they hold on here for one more attempt. They are fairly short death timers.
They're just too incredibly durable, and the catch range from Afu is just way too far. They're able to chase always, and with this frontline bristleback, he just doesn't care because he has the lifesteal as well as Radiance, Hood, Vanguard. They're able to siege first racks down, going for the secondary one, 30 seconds until Bruno.
Oh, look at this. Afu goes back to base. Is the Mango delivery service he's picked up to. Has he got them still in his stash? I definitely saw him pick up a couple.
He used them right away to be.
Oh, he used them himself. Okay, no mangoes for anyone else. Just for him. So, yeah, keeping himself topped up immediately, making sure they can stick around to finish the game. Ice Blast looking to connect onto Raven. False Promise a little early, but just to make sure they can save it. Tim's jumps in with the FE. They do have the control of the ball. They bring Monet down.
Yeah, Monet.
That's a big kill, but Tim's will pay with his life. Cuckoo's now back up. Samage trying to find DDC, but DDC has the hood. He can't even kill the AA. They will disarm the Prism, but the Quill Spray stats continue to build up. They have managed to find AA. Cuckoo manning up towards Inflame. Doesn't quite get him as Inflame goes for the BKB TP out, turning his attention now towards Afu. With the Solar Crest, they do have enough damage to find the Kunkka. So TNC do get killed, but again, it's costing them so much. They lose 3 heroes themselves. They keep the bottom melee racks alive.
Naga die back.
Yep.
But they do keep them. At least they keep the melee racks alive, but
they're still in the game, but only just. And it really is, you know, LFY definitely with the sensation that they have to just rinse and repeat that push once more and go for it.
Yeah, TNC are in the game, but by most means are quite out of it. They can try to still keep on taking the fights, try to push these 2 side lanes out, but that five man, when LFY groups up and starts that ball up, it's just no way for TNC to really respond when all their ultimates are up. Monet now, Chronosphere is going to be up when he's alive. And that was everything. That was like the perfect scenario for TNC to get that jump. It's like Monet was like a little bit low on life, they break the Lincolns, and then they get the lasso epicenter, perfect follow-up with Cuckoo in the back lines. So it's like perfect case scenarios. Now they're able to claim, LFY able to claim some shrines, reset themselves, continue that aggression.
Oh, and Cuckoo is being hunted. Do they have the catch to get him? Dust is out upon him. He does have the BKB, will pop it straight away. No messing. Knows that he can't afford to be caught out outside the base as he'll head his way back up to the high ground. Same time up top, they've actually found Inflame, but he's immediately BKBs, TP's out.
And that was the lasso committal.
Now Samage could be in trouble. They look for the blind torrent. Samage will be able to force himself back to safety, and with the blink just out of range of the Shiva's guard, will get himself back home. Let's see, keeping everyone alive. Yeah, they're quite definitely ready to go down mid. They themselves with all the ultimates that they require. Chronosphere, Ice Blast, Nature's Wrath.
You see Tims and Raven are just desperate to push out those side lanes as far as possible.
Super is just forcing them back to the base. Raven going for the TP back to join the rest of them. Afu is sort of spotted out here by Cuckoo on the side of it, but he's got to be careful. BKB not quite ready again for him. Has the spiders upon him, but LFY take the second melee racks down on this bottom lane. And they're jumping forward. Chrono at the ready. They'll look for the courier. They do get it. No, they don't. The courier's
alive.
Oh, the courier lives. Monet comes in with a chrono onto Cuckoo. Cuckoo is saved just in time by 1437 with a false promise. They have the song trying to get the spider out of there. It will work for now, but it looks like 1437 is going to pay off his life. He has the Glimmer Cape, but Super's got the vision with the sentry down on the floor. Moves in, takes down the Oracle. TNC being forced back. Raven trying to hold Super away from TNC. They get the connection. Torrents there onto Tim, sanking down as well. 2 down without buyback once again on TNC.
They're going for that last Rax now.
They can get DDC. Cuckoo turning towards him. Solar Crest down and pots the BKB. Really wanted this AA kill. Will get it. It is 1 down, but at the same time, Raven going for the TP out. He's actually going to make it back to base by the looks of it. They've got the lasso onto the Kunkka, but the damage is too much for Super. The Quill Spray is building up. Cuckoo down as well. GG is cool. And it looks like LFY were only warming up in Game 1. Game 2, a very, very convincing victory there for the side of LGD Forever Young. 28-15, 33 minutes in, 22k net worth lead. And with the draft and the start to this game that TNC had, there never really was any hope of them bringing it back.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. LFY had just a super strong draft to deal with what TNC had. We've seen Naga carry a few times. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. It's definitely a little bit on the weaker side. You have to have a lot of way to make space for it. They also picked the Oracle a bit early without like some direct counter. It was great versus the Kunkka, but that was kind of it. The Chronosphere just was way too much of a problem. And Inflame on the Nature's Prophet.
Absolutely.
I think this is something you guys have to start banning versus these guys.
It really has got to be thought about in the first phase of drafting, it really does seem. And Super as well, turning up.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that everyone says, oh, he plays Dragon Knight, plays Death Prophet. Turning up, game 1, pulls out an incredible performance, gets the bristle back, and again blows us away. Absolutely star-studded game for them all.
I just love how well they work with the Wrath of Nature. That's the big thing for me. It's like as soon as he hits level 6, they're always just already running at somebody, making that aggression happen. They always get like 1 or 2 kills as soon as Furion hits 6. So I would say that hero might be one of the ones to look out for LFY for future teams that are playing against them.
Absolutely. LFY are able to therefore continue their run here in the upper bracket. TNC knocked down to the lower. Game 1, TNC certainly gave it their all, but yeah, Game 2, definitely the LFY that we sort of expected to turn up off the back of the performances here at the group stages, this TI7. Smiles all around. They'll be prepared to move on for more.
I mean, TNC had a great first game, so that's the one thing. They can't look at this and be like, man, we played really poorly. That's not the truth at all. They had an incredibly good start, and this one was just really difficult for them to do. So they tried their hardest, but yeah, LFY just one step ahead for sure.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to head back to apparently a bit of a change-up. We've apparently got Machine on the panel, so we'll head back to you, Alex.
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed, Owen. I'm hanging out here. They've taken me into the sun, and I have an opportunity to talk to some experts. In fact, I'm joined by a fresh face as well. Not only me, we have Misery joining us, alongside, of course, Ake and PPD. Guys, we get to be outside, and we're video gamers. How are you feeling about this, Pia?
It's super nice out in Seattle right now. I'm happy to be outside finally.
It's lovely. There's there's a beautiful fountain. People are playing. We've got the game behind us. Fans get to kind of top up on their tan. And I heard that you have been topping up on your tan as well, actually. Word on the street is you've been a bit of a party animal. Where have you been up? What have you been up to? I saw pictures.
I just got in from Ibiza, actually, yesterday.
Why are you calling it Ibiza?
Ibiza.
Ibiza. Is it just the UK that does that?
Yeah, it's just the UK.
Okay.
that does that.
Okay.
So, I thought I pronounced the set wrong, but no, it was like the whole.
Okay, what about Sweden? Do you have my back? Ibiza?
I was going to say Ibiza, but I'm not the best at English, so apparently I said melee instead of... No, I said melee instead of melee.
Oh, God. People get upset about the most ridiculous things. I am, however, not upset about that.
Very sorry about that. Very sorry.
Dude, I respect the bow tie. I respect it a lot. But we have got some Dota to talk about as well. Now, of course, LFY have taken the win, and they've kind of replicated the success that they had coming into the group stage. Now, Misery, how much of that group stage did you catch? I imagine you kind of just caught the tail end of it.
I started watching a bit, yeah. I mean, I didn't catch all the games, of course, but I followed through. But anyways.
TNC are going to be falling into that lower bracket now, okay? I mean, this was kind of the expectations you set in that pre-match with Shaw.
For sure, and now we're going to get the OG versus TNC game.
I was trying to avoid it just for a moment, but I guess it's kind of is going to be the direct storyline from this, right, Peter?
I mean, that's what TI is all about, making storylines and us, hyping them up and making them interesting for everybody to watch.
So I think just before we do investigate that, because it is a wonderful story to tell, I think the question has to be simply, TNC going to the lower bracket, was it in the way in which you expected? Was there more resistance than perhaps anticipated, or was that just another day in the office for LFY?
I think 1437, like I was saying on the panel earlier, very clever, very smart drafter. He came into this series with some strategies in mind. Game 2 was a little weird for me, but Game 1 I really loved that last pick. Alchemist almost caught them off guard. However, like I've been saying, LFY is the team to beat at this tournament. I think they are fantastic, and I think they've got a really bright tournament ahead of them.
Okay, I mean, now, I'm interested. LFY, we've heard from Jack himself saying the Chinese scene underestimated them. We've heard from the panelists, you guys perhaps weren't expecting it. Even in the group stage, their result was unexpected. What about you? I mean, have you had a chance to play against this team in this form?
I didn't play against LFY. I played against Newbie quite recently, and I was surprised how patient they were. Like, we were up all 3 games quite by like 10k gold or something like that, and they just stuck in their base, and they just eventually smoked on us and killed us. Kind of like we saw yesterday when they beat EG. It was very similar, and I don't think you're used to playing against such a patient team. It does catch you off guard.
Okay. Is that a word that you would use, Ake, patient, to summarize LFY as well as Newbie?
I think that goes for most of the teams from China. They are very patient and very hard to play against because, as Mr. said, even though we were up like 10k or even 20k, you never know if you actually won the game. They can do something crazy, like go around and smoke or just, I don't know.
We saw that one game that was like that 2-hour game with Empire and another Chinese
128
team.
minutes, yeah.
And it was actually whoever decided to push first was going to lose, and China was like, we'll do this all day. I'm just going to stay in the base. Empire pushed, they lost.
Yeah. Brutal. And I mean, we should stop talking about patience because poor Kevin has been waiting. I've got an urge for Purge. Let's check in with him to get a bit of a deeper breakdown.
Hey guys, how's it going? Hope it's nice in the sun. Still inside over here, unfortunately. But we can talk a little bit about the last game. Just some things to touch on. The Broodmother last pick was a bit of a nice change-up. Really lacking on AoE on LFY's side. They're basically limited until they had Kunkka, especially with his ultimate, and as well as Super here with the Bristleback. So I took a little bit of a look into the laning stage just to see if TNC got full value out of the Brood. And LFY played it really effectively. They laned initially as Prophet against the Broodmother, which is really effective because you have so many physical damage dealers. And it isn't until a couple levels later when Brood actually has more points in his Spawn Spiderling skill that he can actually lane effectively. And at that point, they pretty much rotated the lanes. So the reason that you saw this sort of migrating Broodmother throughout the game is because every time that the Bristleback would come to match up against him, he doesn't want that matchup. He would be forced to go somewhere else, and it hurts his efficiency a little bit. And in the meantime, LFY is still farming all over the place. And in fact, if you take a little look down here, we can actually see the Bristleback rotating over just on time. The Prophet leaves the lane, goes to gank somewhere else, and then that basically forces the Brood to rotate. And he did get some good things done. They had a lot of webs in the mid lane. He got a couple kills. He ended up 3-1. And that was really good for the scope of the game. But we didn't feel like a really huge, overwhelming pressure. I mean, this is 17 minutes in, and he's just taking the Tier 1 tower mid. And didn't really have a lot of success in the other lanes, other than making it hard for him to farm like this. Faces Void has to leave the lane. Can't just sit here and get last hits until his allies come. But really what we just kind of saw was every team fight was just so hard for TNC to win. They didn't quite get the Nagasaran into the place that they needed for this to go really easily. And almost every time that they actually saw the Broodmother, they just committed a Chronosphere to him to guarantee the kill. And when that's kind of the case for your Broodmother and you die multiple times and there's spiders to kill, you just can't affect the game in a good way, and they ended up losing.
I'm always impressed. Love it. Thank you so much, Kevin, getting to break down some of the intricacies, especially of that Brood. And now, in fact, we are going to go ahead and slink our way somewhere else. Before we continue our discussion, we're going to go ahead from one hero to another. In fact, Superhero this time, standing by with Casey.
Congratulations, Super. We're really excited to see you here. That was an exciting, epic first game. So we want to know what it was that, in your mind, was the turning point when you were finally able to get your footing and really win in the end there.
当然是恭喜你们12-0战胜 TNC。那么你们刚才打的第一把就特别的焦灼，打得特别激进。那么你们是如何找到就是胜利的一些细节和如何是转换上你们达成劣势的？优势。
主要是我们第一盘，他们选出来一套我们在我们意料之外的阵容。我们劣势了之后，我们在赛前就说过了，如果我们出现意外，我们就要及时的调整，我们冷静，慢慢的一步一步找机会，千万不能急。
So before the game, they drafted a lineup that was a bit beyond what we predicted, outside of our expectations. So we told each other before the game, like if we get into a situation where we're behind, we have to come back, just stay calm and don't lose our cool, and and that should be okay.
What kind of conversations did you have after that first game to change your approach? Because the second game felt a lot smoother and more evenly played on your part.
就是你们第一场获胜之后商量了一些什么，做一些什么样的调整？因为你第二场就是明显的就是局势更顺风一些，然后打的也看上去比较轻松一点。
第二场我们打完以后，我们还是先优先想他们有没有会再出一些我们意料之外的阵容。如果他们选出来了以后，我们要更加小心的想到他们意料之外的，他们的蜘蛛就被我们想到了，所以我们应对的更好。
So after the first game, we said to ourselves, are they going to pull something else out from up their sleeves, something else that's unpredictable? And we actually, one of the things we accounted for was the Broodmother, which they ended up picking, and so we were prepared for it.
You guys dominated in group stage, and some teams have told us that it can be extra difficult to come in with such high pressure and high expectations. How did you interpret coming into main stage, having done so well in the group stage?
那当然，你们小组赛的表现特别亮眼，也特别出色。于很多人来讲，就是进入主舞台时，要是小组赛打得那么好，就会有更多的压力，或者人家会更关注或针对你。那你小组赛的表现对你们有些什么样的一些启发，或者你们是怎么看的？
我们小组赛良好的发挥，其实到了正赛，其实也就跟别人一样，只是在胜制组而已。 然后我们会不停的告诉自己，这个淘汰赛才是正式的舞台，才是正式的比赛开始。我们别因为小组赛太膨胀了，而且我们最后两天我们输了2场，也给了我们敲了一个警钟吧。所以我们正赛会把心态放得更平缓一点。
So doing like we did very well, obviously in the group stage, but we want to remind ourselves that it's a brand new situation coming in. Like don't get arrogant, don't get cocky. When we get to the upper bracket, everyone's on this equal footing in the upper bracket, and they're all good teams, and we can't take ourselves too seriously or evaluate ourselves too highly. So we told ourselves that, and this is the real match that begins when we're on the main stage. And then finally, we also dropped 2 matches later on in the group stage, so I think that was a bit of a wake-up call, or just humbled us a little bit and kept us focused and not getting too full of ourselves.
And next up, you'll face VP or LGD, so we wish you the best of luck. Super, thank you so much. Jack, thanks for your help. We appreciate it, and we'll send it back to you guys.
Awesome stuff. Casey and Jack, you guys are phenomenal. Casey just asked this beautiful kind of intricate question, and Jack just does a Chinese monologue for 30 minutes, and we still get to hear stuff we otherwise wouldn't be aware of. So getting to hear more from Super and staying in the upper bracket. I saw a very subtle nod, Peter. I could be over-reading into it, but when he said the real game comes next, I saw a kind of an acknowledgement from you.
I like Super. I have a lot of experience playing at tournaments with him and against him. And he's had a lot of success at TI, and he's also had a couple of failures along the way, so he knows that this is just the beginning and there's a lot of tournament ahead and a ton of things can still happen.
Absolutely, and one thing that I want to happen actually, Ake, is just to hear your thoughts on the Brood, because we heard from Super that there was something they acknowledged, they were well aware of coming into the game, that was a possibility. Now for someone like me, or perhaps those at home that are unfamiliar, why has that thought crossed their mind? Why are they aware that that's a possibility?
It's just a thing that people can try to pull out here to get an easy win, in a way.
Did we call it cheesy? Am I allowed to do that?
It is a... Sorry, what is it?
I don't say anything.
Misery actually used to play Brood. He used to be an offlane player before he transitioned to support. Well, what makes a good Brood game? Why did it not work that game?
I mean, I think Brood got changed a lot since I played it. Back then it was... I think the Broodlings were stronger. Like pretty much all his skills were significantly stronger than they are now. I think it's pretty hard to pull off a Brood mother these days. I think the only one that has been successful with it has been Liquid.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they also run it with a lot of fast heroes everywhere, so there's pressure everywhere on the map, and that can easily rotate to the Brood mother and help him out. Whereas this game, it was kind of like 4 farmers, or like
Brood,
Naga farming.
Brood Naga together, maybe just a little too slow.
It doesn't really work out, I think.
They had the Kunkka to catch him, and that is like a very long catch and a very easy setup to kill him, and that really makes the game hard for Brood. Yeah. We could see him like 3 or 4 times at the same spot, and it was always the Kunkka who caught him.
Yeah, and they used the 9th pick of the draft on the
just
Brood mother.
Before the Bristle, yeah.
Yeah, and then last pick Bristleback, and we saw in the laning phase they just sent Bristleback to wherever Brood mother was, and you can swap lanes with Brood mother, but you really don't want to. You just kind of want to take over a lane, sit there, start expanding into the jungle, and then eventually when you're really farmed, you start moving around.
So just to kind of put a final stamp of approval or close this case, as it were, okay, I'll leave the final thoughts with you on this series. As expected, TNC, we'll see more from them, right? Do you still think we can see that maybe that bit more of progress in the lower bracket?
I mean, they're up against OG, so I think
scary.
it's...
Ake is an OG fanboy.
I am.
Oh, he is?
Their tournament's over for him.
But I would say that I think OG is the team that has the highest skill cap, but the problem for them is that they haven't really been able to perform at their top all of the games that they played. So it's just up to them if they can find their play style. And
we'll find out. There is so much to be talked about with that game. That will be coming up another day. For now, though, it does sound like our teams are getting ready for our next battle. And so without further ado, it's time to get some players into the key arena. First of all, it will be LGD. LGD Gaming, a name that has seen podium finishes here in the International East in the history books, but no Aegis. And so now they prepare themselves for another battle. Still in the upper bracket, still fighting the good fight. And on the other side of things, it is time to once again introduce Virtus Pro, fan favorites, and representing the CIS. So many personalities, so much skill, and so much to talk about. I mean, this is where I kind of want to give you some degree of freedom here. Misery. Virtus Pro, a team that, you know, everyone says they're playing that CIS Dota, they're in your face, but also they're a team that you really came into this one, came into previous tournaments, you know, Boston perhaps as well, as a team to watch. Would I use the favorite tag to Virtus Pro? Is that a bit too much?
I think generally Virtus Pro kind of took CIS Dota to the next level and wasn't so much like they play aggressive, yes, but they're also very good at maintaining that lead that they get. They're good at team fighting, they're good at farming, they're pretty much good at all facets of the game. Whereas some of the things that CIS have struggled with in the past perhaps is to like continuously like build the lead and then finishing the game. I think yeah, VP, they might be the last hope, like true hope for the upper bracket of the Western Dota.
One of the most stable teams throughout the scene. They've really, the emergence of Solo as a captain in the CIS scene has been impressive to see. He's like very much taken over as that strong leader. He has a very unique perspective on the game. He offers his own unique play style, and the team has had a lot of success. I think people are looking at them as that like Western hope at the current moment. It's all China right now.
No, absolutely. I think Solo is an interesting kind of discussion to have as well, just regarding his leadership. We got to see, I think, a little look under the hood in the same way Jack provides insight on China. I feel like that TrueSight gave us a little insight into how Solo leads and how, you know, what's going on under the hood of Virtus Pro. What do you make about, you know, Ake? What do you make about kind of Solo's? Did you catch the episode? Did you see the way in which he delivers that information?
What's a bit I didn't really think was that they were that calm and nice in a way. They're like, for people that watch them, they think that they are very aggressive and like if something goes wrong during the game, that they can't really get back together. But I think that it's been a couple of years since it was in that phase, so I think they are a calm and collected team, even though they're very aggressive and like to dive towers. It's just their like play style.
Absolutely, but I think that we can definitely learn more about Virtus Pro. We actually have an opportunity to do so now. So let's learn more about the boys of Virtus Pro.
Фу. Наконец-то мы приехали. Добрый вечер. Добрый вечер. Добрый вечер.
Что мы будем у вас тут делать?
Вы будете проходить квест, это называется искусственный интеллект.
Все готово? Да. Что, Леха, открывай консоль, пиши там это. О, я посерединке. Спасибо. Надеюсь, увидимся. Ребят, смотрите. Смотрели фильм «Я робот»?
Читаю. Обнаружить и загрузить вирус в центральную систему до того, как MIA проникнет во все системы жизнеобеспечения человечества. Торопитесь, у вас есть всего 1 час. Для начала обратитесь за помощью к личному роботу создателя. Ну...
Руку встать, руку встать. О, смотрите, доказали. Смотрите, смотрите. Тут по 5. Вот тут вот по 5. И в каждом доме по 5. Надо выбрать какой-то дом, наверное, определенный. Ну да. Вот, Илюх, вот это. Давай, поехали. О. Вот. О, гений! Паша!
10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Вот она получается, то есть она вторая.
Вторая справа.
Самая крайняя.
Ой, какие у меня умницы!
Ну вот эта штука должна открыться, понимаете? Она откроется, если... Я ее переложил просто сюда, она открылась. Парни, вы что?
А может прям в экран ставить? Вот это ведь штрих-код. А вот это похоже на сканер штрих-кода. О, работает. Вот этот рабочий, Лёв. Нормально. Это, ну смотрите, куда их вставлять? Типа, все, ладно, старый, давай, игра на тебе. На твоем статик-шнурбе.
Ты мне их слева направо даешь, я надеюсь?
Справа налево.
Ну так, на всякий случай просто спросил.
О, Ой! Прикиньте, если бы он средний палец нам показывал.
Так он сейчас пойдет, что-то делать.
Мне кажется, надо было забрать его руку и прислонить его.
Паша говорит, руку можно робота оторвать.
Станьте проводниками, он правильно сказал.
Как?
Проводниками станьте.
Серьезно?
Я гений!
Что делать?
Я гений! Ну, я думал о таком. Го-го-го-го, быстро.
Быстрее, быстрее. Необходимо отключить видеокамеры, тогда магнитная карта сработает.
Давайте передавай друг другу. Вставляй там, а потом сюда. И быстро карту вставлять.
Ну это надо по очереди. Давайте. Раз, два, три.
Ну быстрее, да, через одну руку можно, через несколько.
О! Серьезно? Да, видеокамера. Надо Что? О, как же? Надо что-то крутить, старый чудище.
Подожди, не все линии зажглись, тихо.
Ну, вроде да, не все. Их слишком много, что ли?
Открылся.
Вставляй, USB, давай, сюда.
Всего-то за 4,5 часа мы разобрались.
Не получается.
Как не подходит, в смысле?
Ой, все.
Вообще нам оттуда сейчас бежать.
То есть там кто-то сейчас будет, ребят, давайте кто-нибудь первый.
Может, он туда пошел?
Да, пойдем.
Мы забыли вам сказать, мы просто гении, понимаете?
Вы вошли в топ-10. Топ-10.
Если бы мы немножко еще, пошмушали чуть-чуть. Знаете, на капельку. Я надеюсь, Valve использует где-то секунд 17 примерно из этого квеста. Знаешь, самые хайлайты, когда мы, такие по полчаса просто вырезать обсуждения наши, как мы 2 провода не можем вставить, такие себе. Ой, ладно, спасибо вам большое.
Мы уже можем материться там или нет?
Не, надо еще микрофон.
It's hard not to love them. Virtus Pro with some Blair Witch level type stuff. That's what's going on there. And you can see that Ramsey said himself, Pia, he's a genius.
That was quite the escape room. I'm trying to picture EG getting...
So unseen in the tournament and...
Not seeing it.
Different kind of team.
That was on another level escape room. Mine just usually like a puzzle with, I don't know, a security fence and some handcuffs.
Love how Ramses would just sitting there in the chair doing nothing, just belittling them the entire time.
Yeah, old geezers, I'm a genius. I loved it. And actually Ramses is an interesting discussion because I did just lean towards you, Misery, just to clarify it, but this is his first TI. The youngster.
I think so,
the young
right?
gun.
Definitely his first TI.
I think TI5 he didn't quite get through the qualifier, and this is him on the main stage. And actually, we're going to have to cut this discussion short because it sounds like they're ready to go. We can go ahead and kick this game off. It's time to see what Virtus Pro can do versus LGD.
LGD versus Virtus Pro. Game 1.
All right, get your thinking caps on. It is time for the draft. A best of 3 between Virtus Pro and LGD Gaming. VP not only representing for themselves, but also battling to try and see what they can do versus the titans of LGD.
You can see that both teams here did their homework. Virtus Pro is banning the mag, which 11 has been playing a lot of games, and LGD bans the Darkseer that Pasha has been playing a lot.
It's kind of interesting how Virtus Pro actually used to favor the Magnus like a lot back in Kiev Major, and like in the past a lot, and now they're banning it themselves.
It's worked really well with their team, especially because Ramses is such a draw to these like melee heroes who benefit from cleave. You see him like his best heroes like Ursa,
sure,
and Ursa with Empower can actually keep up and farm and be effective in the late game.
And in regards to just taking that seer away from VP, is that just, would you describe that as Virtus Pro comfort territory? That's just where they fall back to if things aren't going to plan?
I've seen a lot of Darkseer and Sven from them throughout this tournament. One of the few teams to make Darkseer really work well.
And they actually picked it the first 2 as well, so they're not afraid to just like show what they are going to do, and they can actually make it work as well.
Yeah, they're confident in it. You know, they're not afraid of any counters coming out, or they feel like they can ban effectively around it.
VP is one of the teams that actually they're not afraid to show their lineup or draft in the like first 2, and they they're like one of the teams that seems like they want to have a good lineup themselves more than countering the opponent.
Yeah, we've seen Solo first pick himself a lot of Witch Doctor and Ogre, which aren't really counter picks to any specific heroes. Generally, just they offer your team things.
Yeah. I mean, Rasmus, is there a balance to be struck with that? You know, drafting for yourself as opposed to deliberately trying to get.
I think specifically Virtus Pro is probably one of the most confident teams you can find. I'm very surprised how confident they always seem to be when they're playing majors and like tournaments in general. They always just pick Magnus Troll first two. They don't really care what you're gonna do. It's more like try and beat us. You know what we're gonna do. Try and beat it now. So yeah, it's definitely something that they don't mind that much.
For those watching, Virtus Pro recently at the Summit picked unique heroes throughout the entire tournament, every single game up until Game 5 of the finals, which then they just picked their favorite heroes and won the tournament. It was I was there casting. It was.
What were the favorite heroes though?
It was like.
Can you remember?
Ursa, Magnus.
And stuff like that,
yeah. So yeah, just. That was the only game that they repeated heroes. They brought out all these old strategies, Shadow Demon Luna, Magnus and Power plus melee heroes.
And still made the run to the finals.
And won the tournament.
We are seeing Crystal Maiden come to play.
That hero's bad.
It really upsets me because all it does is remind me of Slacks now.
She's just really slow. I think she's down to 270 MS.
She has gotten nerfed to the point where it feels almost unplayable. However, I feel if she comes online, she can still make the lineup very fast. Like she does give the aura to all your heroes, and the thing is, she jungles fairly quickly still if you get the right camps, and
it's okay.
And actually, like this lineup against Lich and Kunkka supports, it can actually work because like none of them are heroes that is gonna go into your jungle and just kill you. Like Lich is gonna stand on a lane, and Kunkka is gonna try to gank some like mid or safe lane.
That's true. But whatever lane VP decides to put up against the Lich is really going to struggle. I don't think Crystal Maiden is going to be able to help out at all there. I think her best efforts are going to be in the jungle, getting a quick level 3, probably 2 points in aura, and letting Nightstalker run around and grab as many bounty runes and have mana for constant voids.
Keep your eyes on those two. Now, the Lich hasn't been discussed as much. In fact, we haven't actually got to hear your opinion on this because the International 7 has been plagued by Lich. It's been kind of the hero of the draft, at least in the group stages. What's your take on it? Something you've been playing around with as well?
Yeah, I actually felt like I was one of the only people that appreciated Lich when he was when he was never picked.
Back in the day.
Yeah, like a few months ago even. The hero has definitely become stronger as the game has developed a bit throughout this tournament. It feels like the 5 position doesn't really have that much of a place as much as it used to.
Sure.
The pull is pretty weak. It's hard to zone the off lane. There's usually a lot of pressure on the safe lane though. I feel like it's this hero has a lot of potential now. He can go to any lane, like Aka mentioned the other day, and he gets his own experience. He gets his own sustain. He can armor towers. I mean,
he always has an impact.
Yeah.
And a lot of other 5 heroes just don't have that, especially in the laning phase.
Right. So getting that additional impact, and whilst you do say that, it does seem like it's quite polarizing when you have a Lich played correctly and incorrectly. Could you shed a little insight, Peter, as to what Lich's kind of checklist is going to be? I mean, you yourself have said that stats don't tell you everything. Bad teams can pick the same hero. Lich, I mean, we've seen Cloud9. They tried to draft it. They were one of the few to chase the Chinese with it and could not make it work. What does a bad Lich look like in comparison to a good?
A bad Lich or a good Lich?
Is that a tough question?
It's definitely a tough question.
Just using the abilities in the right way.
Might be more based off the team and how they built around
the opponents, I would say, because the ice armor is what's going to make him good in the late game. So if they're up against a lot of physical damage, now they actually pick Sven against it. So now Lich is actually quite good for them.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of bad Lich games where the Lich moves around a lot and he chooses the wrong lane to be in. It's you want to set him up against somebody to slow them down. If you're worried about.
He's also an enabler in a sense, right? What do you put with the Lich? There are certain heroes that can be very effective. You put a Centaur with a Lich and give him armor, he's pretty much untouchable there.
You can pick a weaker laner. We've seen
you can
Morphlings
exactly
paired up with that Lich.
Doom has been picked with Lich as well a lot. It's also why VP is spanning it as well in the second phase there.
Wow. You've got VP Sven. Talked about that beforehand, and Beastmaster's going to be coming in from LGD.
That could work as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if he gets a couple of levels to level up the boars, then he can be very annoying.
That is very strong for sure. This is a hero that nobody really plays except for LGD, right?
Not often picked into Nightstalker, But if you build a Vlad's first and you become this like 5-man pushing hero, you can almost counter what Night Stalker does for your team.
I actually remember how like OG back in the day doing like in Frankfurt Major and stuff like that, they actually felt that Beastmaster was kind of the counter to Night Stalker because he did give you some kind of vision, right? And you had the boars to push out the lane, you got your book, you can like rat a bit. Night Stalker doesn't like that with summons.
There's a
like that.
Sven and a CM though to help deal with that Necro book.
Yeah, that's true.
And you can force towers with him as well with his passive aura. It makes the tower pushes.
It's not a it's a pretty vague matchup, I think.
So you guys are a fan of the pick?
I think it could work, but it's not something that I would pick for my team.
See what they have planned here, because I think the hero is very versatile overall, and I think it's underappreciated at the moment.
That's looking like a Pasha Omni Knight in the off lane.
Yeah. Could be an aggro tri-lane, perhaps, to counter out the Lich idea, maybe, and then they put the Omni Knight against the Beastmaster or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a tough lane for him, but Omni Knight, you know, with a little bit of sustain from the heal, could potentially manage the harassment from Lich's Frost Nova in the laning phase.
I think they probably don't mind that much putting Omni Knight against just Lich Beastmaster. He's gonna be fine there.
He's gonna farm at least, though.
But now there's a Troll, which is pretty decent in lane overall, so the aggro tri-lane might not be the best idea.
They are gearing up to group up and push against this Night Stalker, I think. I think that's something that Virtus Pro is lacking a bit, is the team fight. Crystal Maiden offers a little bit, Night Stalker next to none. Sven, he has a hard time getting into fights until he gets a Blink Dagger and a BKB. But even when he does get that BKB, he's still going to be dealing with that roar from Beastmaster.
And surely that's something Virtus Pro would have been aware of. By drafting it first, they knew that that would give the freedom to LGD to build towards that. They knew that that was coming.
They knew that Omni Knight was coming?
Well, no, they knew that the LGD would try and build to counter that Night Stalker. You've been
True.
that.
10 seconds.
Yeah, so Virtus Pro trying to get some more team fights so they can actually defend their towers
5 seconds.
with an Omni Knight. You got Casey and Slacks now.
They need some kind of powerful mid-hero here, right? They need...
Nice.
Yeah.
Casey and Slacks on Virtus Pro here.
Yeah, they're representing. I think Casey pulled off the facial hair better, right?
Slacks is looking a little slim.
He lost all the weight, didn't he?
He's looking good.
He's looking fine. Who could cosplay as Sven? That's the real question. Talent team. I think Peter, you could rock a Sven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's more like a Fly, kind of.
Yeah, that's more.
Oh yeah, you're right. Let's get Fly
kind of thing.
I'm a little skinny, I think.
We'll get you down the gym. Give Blitz 6 months. He'll be there as well.
Jeez, Night Stalker's ripped.
It's true.
Yeah, him and his blue buddy Sven. Jim
there is a recurring blue theme, and we have, as with all the drafts that are manned by me, gone on to a topic of aesthetics. Good job, Alex. Solid work.
Yeah,
Waiting for LGD's draft.
You're definitely derailing the panel.
That's my job, yeah. That's what they were like. Day9's keeping it on topic too much. Jump in and talk some nonsense.
You want to talk StarCraft?
Sure, man.
Medusa banned from Virtus Pro. I like that. Medusa's one of the hard counters to Sven because you can cast Stone Gaze even during his BKB when he's looking to connect the majority of his damage. He's got to turn and run away instead of fighting. Necrophos, the last pick.
It fits well with the other heroes, as we said before, that they really want to push and push the tower, so now they actually have some sustain and heal.
What do you think VP is looking at?
Yeah, this is the big question.
The DP would be good for them, I think, but it's banned out. Queen of Pins banned as well.
Puck?
I think Puck is a little bit on the weak side for their lineup.
You want more firepower?
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely want something stronger. I could see...
Is the
Invoker is not banned. No, Invoker could be interesting. They have some
no one here,
setups. Yeah. I could see maybe Storm Spirit being good, but it might be a little bit
OD
Storm.
Yeah, they have like Beast ulti and they have Kunkka X as well. I don't know.
I think Storm looks good, but the problem is if it becomes a bit too slow. But they do have Repel. They have like Omni Knight heal.
They
have CM Aura.
CM Aura. I think it's
nighttime Storm would be good.
Lina.
All right. I mean, that's a classic with
she hasn't
CM
been
too,
picked
right?
so much lately.
Yeah.
Compared to before. She was very popular during the qualifiers.
I mean, you said they needed firepower, and they get quite literal firepower from Lina. Omni Knight, Sven, Crystal Maiden, and Night Stalker coming in from VP. Now, the question is, and it has to be asked, Ake, throwing this one towards you in terms of, is there a draft that you significantly like more than the other?
I think LGD has a more clear plan of what they want to do, and Virtus Pro kind of ended up in a way there where like they had to try to counter LGD's lineup instead.
They're going to be reacting a lot in this game, and those team fights are going to determine who comes out on top.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. We're going to go ahead and continue to top up our tan as we go ahead and jump into another fantastic game here at TI7. Your casters are waiting in the wings.
10 seconds remaining.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome to what promises to be a real barn burner of a showdown. Lumi, we've got LGD taking on VP. VP, the last Western hope remaining in the upper bracket. They've got a very fearsome opponent here.
Do you have to pay copyright to use that line?
No, that's just my homage to AC. I miss him, man. I miss his hype. You know, it's the best I can do.
Well, I got to tell you, I think out of all of teams coming out from China, I personally think that LGD is the strongest one.
Really?
Yes. You know,
Wow.
6-8 months ago when I was casting LGD on these online games, they were just kind of muscling people down just off the raw skill of Ame and maybe, or Somnus as he's tagged up in this game. But in the last 2 to 3 months, I felt like they have a complete package. Yao has been literally out-drafting their opponent pretty much every single time that I've casted their game. So they have made the final evolution. You got this raw skills, you got the draft, and now they are ready to take down TI, I think.
Yeah, and looking at this LGD team, you know, like the old storyline for Yao, you go back to TI3, LGD got bounced by Liquid. That was a huge upset at the time. And then Xiao8 left. Xiao8 moved on to Newbie. He won a TI without any of his old teammates, and so the question became, like, were they holding him back? Did Xiao8 just need to get away from, not just Yao, but everyone else on that team, Sylar, who was with him at the time? Now it seems like maybe we've come full circle, and Yao has finally fully stepped in to that role as a captain, as a drafter, as a leader, and has taken LGD very far. But that said, they've got a fearsome opponent here, and VP want to get this party started. And guess who they find? The Jinx is in, and Yao down for the count.
Giving up first blood to no one. That is not a good sign here for your mid player. Every time you see your support give up first blood, you're the mid, you're like, dang it. Why'd you gotta be there? But that will give Somnus, or I guess for the remainder of cast, I would refer him as maybe he's better known for that tag. Or do you think we should?
No, we can call him.
Maybe. All right. Thank you for giving me the permission, Albie. I appreciate that.
I asked his agent. He said it was okay.
Cool. Yeah, that does secure him the rune, but still, big, heavy win here for Virtus Pro.
Yeah. Early first blood for them, and now I think while we wait for these lanes to unfold, we look at VP's lineup. So much of this game is going to be dictated by Lil on the Night Stalker and enabled by Solo on the Crystal Maiden. I know the panel mentioned, PPD said it's not a good hero right now. Do you think it can be a good hero this game, or is it going to be a liability, all game long against what LGD bring to bear?
Are you talking about the Omni?
The Crystal Maiden.
Crystal Maiden. I think she will be fine. She's going to be mostly staying the lane. One of her strongest or weakest point is that she's so slow, and this patch is really about contesting the bounty runes. But she's not going to let the Night Stalker to do most of the bounty picking. So
she's here, you think, mainly for the aura to give a little bit of extra experience?
Her allies, all 4 of them, takes advantage of the allies extremely well, especially with Lina on the mid lane spamming away, as well as Omni Knight. Definitely needs a mana to keep himself gassed up on the top lane.
Often when we see the Omni, it is with some super carry that really takes advantage of the repel. Like, in theory, they do have that with maybe the Sven, maybe the Lina. However, there is some lockdown to go through that, whether it's the Night Stalker ultimate, the Necrophos, Reaper Scythe stun, or potentially, just looking at some troll bashes. So
bottom lane?
Not automatic that will be a good lockdown, but 11 does get caught out here in the bottom lane. Good pick to start things off for VP. Make it 2-0 early. They're also pulling during this time. So this bottom lane seems clearly won, at least for now. Yao staying there for the moment. Curious to see if he makes a rotation as he's being bullied a bit in the river. The board's going to lend him a bit of an assist as Lil makes his journey towards the middle lane, running away from that board now, wrapping back in. So they're leaving the Lich bottom. And I want to ask you, do you like the Lich staying here? Do you think he could be more effective or useful elsewhere?
Well, not if he's giving up kills like that, right? I think the idea here is what exactly IG did yesterday. Remember, they ran the Sand King Lich in the off lane? They want to control this lane and just solely win, but instead, they're just giving kills after kills after kills. Crystal Maiden.
No more mana here on VP, so they won't be able to get the follow-up, but it's now 2 deaths in the lane. It's a 3rd kill on this bottom half of the map, and you really have to wonder, are they going to make an adjustment? Yao TP's in again. He's going to deny that range creep, so content to at least try and slow this down, but
I think LGD is just getting a little bit too ahead of themselves. Lich as a laner gets really, really strong at level 2 and 3. not as strong at level 1. It felt like they gave away a little bit too much when they don't have any ability to fight. You take Sacrificer 1, you're a glorified range creep, just stay back. And unfortunately, they got punished pretty hard.
That does mean 11 is on his own, though, and they're moving in again, looking to punish the Lich.
Yeah, and this is where Lich gets stronger in the lane, right? You put the Frost armor on 011, and he's got 7 armor, with the, of course, the attack slow applied to them when you do attack him. So he should be absolutely fine. And still, this lane is not winning for LGD, but eventually it will win.
So how about the other lanes? In the mid lane, no one. Duking it out with Maybe here. For a while, Maybe widely considered to be by far the best mid in China. Nowadays, I think some would say SCCC can challenge him for that crown, but certainly one of the premier mids. And doing well early on against no one. Slight edge to CS. He's getting a little help from Victoria. They are moving in while simultaneously in the bottom lane, the Frost Armor saving the day. Can they get this no one kill? The Lena's low, about to fall. Crucial that LGD gets this. Not dead yet. And no one makes it out.
Wow. I think maybe used his Ghost Shroud a little bit too early. I think he could have gotten an extra attack or two, not taking into account of the Ghost, the Fairy Fire that the Lina activated. So slight mistake there by Maybe, but still having the lane advantage. Great gang from the Kunga, giving their mid a little bit of advantage there.
On the last lane that we haven't really looked at is Pasha on this off-lane Omni Knight, who for now is getting his experience. Already level 4. They haven't been able to force him out of the lane, although they are going to try with the turret now. He's relatively low, has the level 2 heal. Still the pursuit. They're going to be looking for some timely bashes. So he gets pulled back by an X, but the creep wave comes in, and Pasha will be absolutely fine. So the early laning stage definitely belongs to VP, and now Wolf Howl's nighttime kicks in, and Lil starts to get aggressive. All those kills, Lumi, they're coming in daytime, but now VP can ramp up the aggression.
One of the downside of this defensive tri-lane for Virtus Pro is that they're not getting that much level. You have 3 kills in the lane, and your Night Stalker is still level 2. And that's just kind of a byproduct of Crystal Maiden nowadays. She used to be a very efficient jungler. And Lich, yeah. Of course, more so than the Lich in the CM. But now it looks like the Night Stalker will be roaming to the mid lane to perhaps set up a kill. And Maybe is relatively low.
It does Ghost Shroud up. Has a few stick charges available as well. So VP aren't going to be able to commit for that kill. You in fact see 4 LGD heroes in the vicinity, just ready for a potential dive while also trying to farm the woods. And one thing about this Night Stalker pick is the presence of the Beastmaster. I think very important to talk about. It might not be the easiest Night Stalker game. There's always vision if the Beastmaster position's right. So VP can't just count and bank on being able to dive towers with impunity. There could well be a punish and anticipation from the LGD side.
I do want to point out this ward that Virtus Pro lay out in the very beginning of the game, overseeing the Ancients. That's something that Lich offlanes would like to do, especially with the Beastmaster in the game. And of course, when you have a Sven, if you do know that there is going to be a stack, you can easily steal it after a good fight. So I think that's definitely something that Virtus Pro will be looking towards to do.
11 feeding his Hawk into the waiting arms of Solo, who is now just dual laning as the Night Stalker continues his journey around the world, heading towards the top lane. Didn't really see an opening there. In fact, the Lich also making the rotation. I think he was hiding in fog, just waiting for that potential Night Stalker dive, and they're going to go again on the bottom lane. 11 could be in trouble here with the Frostbite coming out. He doesn't have the plus armor. The attack speed slow not there, and down he will go. Brutal start indeed. VP up 4 kills. Great start for them. They're not really that far ahead, all things considered, Lumi. LGD still farming well and otherwise keeping the game relatively close. But I guess the question is, how do LGD get back in this game? What is their strategy moving forward?
LGD needs a lot of levels on their heroes before they do a lot. I mean, Maybe is level 6, so he could start rotating around and set up some kills, but not before he gets ganked here. 3-man rotation.
Not where he wants to be. Laguna comes out, stick up hop, but it was after the Ghost Shroud. He could be in danger. Then the Torrent comes through. The ult from the Necro, they get the kill. CM down. At least a small trade, but the Lil looking for more. Wants some revenge. It's a double for no one. It could be a triple. Lil wanting to chase, but no one doesn't want to commit with those quick respawns coming through. Much bigger victory here. VP grabbing cores, only giving up supports, continuing to extend their lead. 6-1 now.
Remember when the question was proposed at the panel, what is a bad Lich game? You're watching it right now. Lich is supposed to give you the lane advantage. You're not supposed to fall 6-1 behind. You're not supposed to be losing out on so much gold. He was picked for this off lane, they didn't win the off lane. And now he's kind of rotating around, and that's not the reason why you pick Lich. Moving forward in the mid game, he's really going to be lost in terms of what he can do. Smoke gang going up top.
Yeah, you pick the Lich, you'd love to have passive lanes, but Ame getting trapped out. The Troll eats the heal bomb. mauled down. Virtus Pro continue to gain steam here, revving up the plow. They are in full control now, but soon this nighttime will end, and we'll see if LGD can start to get some momentum back their way. Ramsey's left alone bottom. There is soon going to be a Primal Roar available. LGD might be able to make a move, actually baiting this one. 11 doesn't have his level 6 yet, though. He's just going to give up a free kill, or maybe not. Victoria, big save from him. The Tord comes through, and now the slow. Just looking to retreat, though, as Will's on the chase. Doesn't have the mana. He gets baited in. Now from the side comes maybe with the flank. The ult's cooling down 1 second. He won't get the bonus death time on the Night Stalker, but they do salvage the fight, and now Beastmaster level 6. LGD, even bringing the troll in for that engagement, they might be looking to push off.
They're going to steal this big stack. Ame, I believe that was a 3 to 4 big stack here, and they just cleaned it up. That was supposed to be a Sven, so that engagement, not only did Ramses not get the kill that he intended to go for, it also lost pretty big economically to LGD. I think that was a pretty good comeback here.
And look at the transition from LGD. They get the kill, and they're just going to group up the Beastmaster and the Troll together and force the fight. They're diving onto Solo, but reinforcements are arriving. Pasha wants to take this. He's got the heal. That's going to bring the Troll low. Now Ame needs to back away. Where's the follow-up? Still that Primal Roar available, but nobody on VP low enough to continue this aggression. So a good job by Pasha of blunting the onslaught, and now VP going to settle down a little bit. LGD forced to back away. This is the time where their lineup starts to ramp up in the push department, Lumi, but don't have a point in that Troll ult just yet. No battle trance, so perhaps not quite ready to go for it.
No, I think they definitely need a little bit more levels before they could actually group up for a concentrated push. I'm also worried moving forward in this mid game. I feel like Naeun Pasha's Omni Knight is just going to be way too big. He got too much in that laning stage. Maybe walking into a gank squad, but looks like he's going to be okay.
It's 3 heroes from LGD looking to dive. Still no ultimate on the Lich. We have often seen the Chain Cross come out. 2 heroes done by Ramsey's. Good connection to start. Now the heal to follow. Chasing the back. The Lina comes through. Clutches the kill. And all 11 in danger. Continues his retreat, but the onslaught is there. VP storming forward. The Roar has to be committed just to get back safely. And still the stun's going to take him. Solo isn't even needed for this kill. No one scores. Another Virtus Pro are on fire early.
Meanwhile, Night Stalker successfully TPs out from a gank up top. Yeah, they are winning pretty much every single lane, every single engagement. And LGD is a lineup that I think needs to get a little bit more done in the laning stage. I don't think you could just be like, okay, we're going to scale better in late game. LGD does not have that kind of lineup against Alina and Sven.
It is, you know, to emphasize the point you were making before the action broke out earlier, like, you pick Lich, you'd love to have a very passive laning stage. Just sit back, win through the war of attrition, through constant sacrifices, but they fought a lot early, and those were not favorable engagements. It was before the Lich got his level advantage, before the sacrifices kicked in, and then VP have been able to snowball it since. So I suppose a small silver lining for LGD is that VP has not been able to stack much. Still no ancient stacks on either camp as of yet.
LGD smoked next to the shrine, spotted out by a well-placed Observer Ward by
really,
Virtus Pro.
Feeling the pressure to make something happen with this Necrophos. Did go for that early Veil. Obviously armor will be essential against the Sven.
Yeah, LGD just gives up the gank. They kind of know that maybe they got spotted.
Even a Radiant scan coming in. It's not actually going to detect Victoria, but this might free up the push bottom anyway, with 11's army of boars stacking up. Perhaps LGD will commit. Sneaking in from the side, Victoria gets down a key deep ward. So far, so good for VP, though. They have mostly thwarted these ganks now, letting the darkness fall and closing in on natural nighttime. They look to defend this tier 1. Still no towers claimed. LGD, their lineup was predicated on taking at least 1 tower by now.
Or at least doing a ton of damage to it, which they have on the bottom side, but I think LGD definitely not happy with how their early game going. I think, critically speaking, look at Victoria's level. He's level 5. He's trying to smoke around with his team and set up kills, but without the Ghost Ship, I don't think they have enough damage to really kind of put people low enough for that Reaper. Scythe maybe has really even given up ganking with the team. He says, look, I need to get level 12. I'm going to just farm up, and you guys worry about yourself.
The thing is, they're so reliant on the Reaper Scythe to complete kills, and you've got an Omni Knight to worry about with a level 3 repel. So the uptime is quite high, and very likely, while you might get the stun, you're unlikely to be able to dish out the damage needed for the kill.
Yeah, LD, I gave you that little look when they picked Necrophos into the Omni Knight. Generally, Omni Knight is seen as one of the better heroes to pick against the Necro.
Unless you crush the lanes really hard.
Which they didn't. So, LGD is in a lot of trouble. Mid lane looks like the rotation is coming in. Are they going to make that dive? Or maybe?
Maybe trying to tank up now as he works his way back towards the hood. Still Lil eyeing his prey, but it's a rather reinforced hide he'll have to chew through if he wants to get that kill. But while this is all going on, Pasha is getting some precious me time top. He takes the tower down uncontested. At this rate, we might just see like a straight Midas or Radiance coming out from Pasha. He's just getting all the farm in the world.
And there's no stopping him, at least not right now. Like, the only person that could really kill him is a dual gank of the Beastmaster Roar as well as the Reaper Scythe.
Oh yeah.
But
easy GPM talent. Why not with the start he's at?
So what do you think he's going to go for? He's got the Midas queued up. Yeah, he's going for a...
I definitely think you go Midas. When you're already this highly leveled, like, you don't...
So what about the next item, though? Like, okay, Greaves. Good choice.
They do know LGD's 5-man is really strong in the mid-game, right? Once you get the key items, like I imagine Necro's going to try to complete a pipe. Do you see maybe queuing that up now? Beastmaster, we'll see. For now, appears to be a Solar Crest. But they're likely to go for that 5-man push. They're likely to try to take Roche. So you do want at least something item-wise from the Omni that lets you take fights. And I mean, Mech certainly fits the bill there. Actually, looks like he wants to change out for a 4-step.
Okay.
But yeah, just something to help the team. Like, you can go back for something greedier later. But
sure. 4-staff seen as one of the best counter to Beastmaster Roar. You spend a long cooldown ultimate for a single target hero, boom, push him away, and you're fine.
And LGD finally make a smoke work for them. It's tough to do it at night, but they are going to try. One showing himself mid for now. Did opt for the Yule Scepter on the Lina. LGD move in. Arcane Rune here, maybe. Going to snag it, VP. Immediately looking to back away, and Victoria unable to get the initiation. So again, VP correctly anticipating these LGD movements. That's the third failed smoke for them. They have just had LGD's number all game long.
That was a very curious time to make that smoke. Hold on, I thought Old Levin's going to get initiated. It's getting completely blown up. 5 VP heroes on the chase. Little flying forward, giving vision. But
pushing up the daisies now as VP starts to take this tower down. Tier 1 under siege. No frost armor on it even. Looks like that Lich is afraid to even get near the tower for the time being. So, in fact, the one hero who sticks around could be punished now. The Necrophos spun out. Good stuff coming through from the Centaur. Lil with the micro skills, and now the Chain Frost committed, but the Omni's there to keep them alive.
Chain Frost?
CP's in. Still no keeps on bouncing. Still no kills. They need more damage. They want Pasha. They will get him. Can they find more in the retreat? Solo, dangerously low. The hero plays from Meow to try and keep his team in this game, but Centaur Stomp is available 2 times in a row. Lil with the huge plays going for that early Helm of the Dominator build on the Night Stalker.
That was a very poor timing to do the LGD smoke gank, in my opinion, because they did it during nighttime. Like, Night Stalker sees you before you see them.
And they did it blind. Like, sometimes we'll see teams smoke at night, but they at least have a ward, or they have some sort of vision advantage to set up for an easy kill.
They had one deep into the jungle, into the Radiant jungle, but I don't think that one saw any hero at that time. But finally, LGD with a slight momentary lead after that fight will take at least a tier 1 tower.
VP probably not in position to trade just yet as Ame cracks open the Mask of Madness. Raw attack speed so far for him. Grab the Yasha as well. It's the least important tower for their strategy though, as they really are a lot about the Roshan, but the Troll, the Beastmaster, heroes that can use the Aegis quite well potentially, like the Necrophos, who offers a lot on a second life.
Ramses, by the way, finishing a 4-stack Ancients, being stacked up by that little Centaur. Nice Stalkers.
Already grabbed the Oblivion Staff, I believe Echo Saber. But either way, LGD working on this tower now, quickly chewing it down. VP don't want to contest just yet. They are waiting for their next round of items. They want to take a fight where LGD aren't already set up at a tower, so they're going to retreat for the time being.
This last minute and a half for LGD has been really good. They desperately need that gold going to some of these key heroes. 11 finishing that Solar Crest allows them to tank quite a bit. I wonder if he's going to go for a Blink BKB or Blink build this game.
No one could be in danger here. The Yule's
Roar.
out there, though. It's available. Quick Yules, but the Chain Frost locked in from distance. Roar comes through.
Even the Reaper.
Gotta love the commitment from Yao there, and they do score the long duration.
Look at his respawn time, 66 seconds.
Yeah, that's big, and that is the thing about this LGD draft is even from a deficit, they're just so strong in the mid game. But here comes Lil again, hunting Victoria. Oh, Victoria down once more. Lil continues to make plays around the map. 3-1 and 6 on the Night Stalker, doing it solo now.
So I do want to ask your opinion about the Night Stalker Helm of the Dominator build. Not something that we see too often, but the Centaur has been pretty effective so far.
Quite instrumental. We'll talk about it in a moment, but for now, LGD getting run over in the mid lane. A rain of fights coming down as Solo continues to dish out the damage. Even through the Ghost Shroud will slay Ame and maybe both cores down for the count. They didn't have the Beastmaster there. Of course, the Kunkka had only just respawned. They didn't have the boat available. Costly mistake from LGD, underestimating VP's willingness to take the fight.
Yeah, there's no way that Troll Warlord could be in that kind of forward position without having a BKB. Look at how awkward it was as he got kind of pushed into the right side. If he had BKB there, maybe he could sit his ground and fight, but they just got melted.
Yeah, he queues it up now. He's definitely going to need it as this game moves along. But
he needs both BKB and Diffusal Blade to actually counteract against Guardian Angel. That will be a big threat against them as well. So just a ton of items that LGD need. Unfortunately, they are just too poor.
Yeah, they need a ton of items as the game moves along. And, you know, even if you get that BKB, Lina is a very hard hitter with right clicks, assuming she goes for the damage talent.
You have Warcry to back you up.
You have to spend right clicks, so. Other thing I think to keep in mind is they have multiple targets that you really want to roar. Like, those are the two big ones. Maybe you could even make an argument for the Omni Knight so he can't save his teammates. But LGD, they're not frazzled by this bad turn of events. They're still going to try to go for the Roach. They've lost one already. Victoria down. Now Ame's in the pit, but he rushes out, wants to take the fight. Yao into the Chain Frost. He won't get it off, though. VP swarming to the point of attack. It's a Zerg rush from them. Locking down Ame, picking him off. Aegis instantly will be burnt and likely dies again. Stormbolt's cooled down, goes for the whirling axes, but surrounded and pounded. VP make it 3 plus an Aegis down. They are fearless here on the big stage.
Yeah, they gave away the Roshan, but you know they just took it right back very quickly and now invading into the enemy jungle. Do we have a second to talk about that Helm of the Dominator? Because Little has been microing out of his mind. Known as one of the best Visage players in the world. I guess this is Viscer's light as he's sending in the Centaur, stomping people and extending chain stuns, as well as allowing the Omni Knight to actually have a good healable target in the front line to do that big bomb damage.
It can also soak up, you know, a Chain Frost bounce and potentially just drag it away from your team. So
that Centaur also has stacked 4 Ancient Camps for his Sven. So
yeah, so you can basically do what you want to do at nighttime as a Night Stalker, and that's probably the biggest reason. Stay active, constantly pressure, while also still ensuring your economy is robust. So I think that's the most important aspect of it, and then the bonus is whatever it brings to you in an actual fight.
Sure. The 10 attack speed also actually is quite nice for Night Stalker. It does get in quite a bit of right click, especially when he is in a 1v1 situation for support in jungle or something like that.
Still prowling about here as LGD starting to feel quite scared. It's a lineup that's meant to group up, take towers early, grab an Aegis, and use that to force objectives. But Lumi, they've gotten only 2 towers, and for their purposes, the least important 2, these 2 bottom tier ones. It's not stopped VP from farming at all. VP's farming the northern half of the map without fear. LGD, if anything, the lineup that wants to be map controlling and playing from ahead is currently playing from a sizable disadvantage. 17-4, down 9k gold. How do they get back in this game?
Well, Reaper Scythe is a hell of a spell. You know, when the game goes longer, the respawn timer kind of adds more and more in terms of how effective it is. But I think they're getting closer and closer to a point where VP needs to go up the hill, dive a little bit too deep, and make a big mistake. For now, looks like the 2 teams will trade a tower. LGD does get the mid-tier 1, but here comes the backstab.
They want to fight. They're bringing in 5. The tower's low, but in goes Ramsey's head full of steam. Gets up the stun. Ame on the run, and from the rear comes Solo with the zoning. Ultimate Meet the Frost as he brings down 3 with the help of his team. Now onto Somnus, and maybe no calls to be accepted by this Necrophos. He will drop as well, the lone survivor to tell the tale of sadness of the plow.
We're going to watch that one more time. You see in the front line, Sven just goes in, and on the back line, great rotation coming in. And they just cut off everybody. Crystal hit an ultimate. And like you said, it was a zoning one, and there was nowhere to go for LGD. They don't get a single player. And now Tier 3 is being seized on.
This is what we all knew VP was capable of. This was the reason why we saw swagger and confidence from Virtus Pro at past events. Some have knocked them for being overly confident, even cocky at times. As mentioned at the summit, going for the, pick a different hero every game, never play a hero twice.
They want that
strategy. And they ended up winning the tournament, and perhaps it made them a bit stronger. Now they come into TI and on the big stage, on the verge of finally taking a game off of one of these top Chinese dogs, as LGD find themselves on the ropes.
Yeah, so far I think LGD has not really shown up and played Dota just yet. They had resemblance of showing up and play Dota. They made some good moves, but ultimately, I think they didn't execute the Dota that they want to play. The draft to me is not the draft that they intended to show right now.
I mean, biggest thing, is it just that they didn't get enough mileage out of the Lich for you?
Not just as Lich, but a laning stage as a whole, right? Like, Lich is a big part of it, obviously, but I think Beastmaster is supposed to do more in this stage of the game. Maybe supposed to be getting a Reaper side kill left and right. How many Reaper side kill have we seen? 1, 2?
I think just the one.
I mean, they have 4 kills, so we could, count it up really quickly.
It's not more than 4.
Yeah. So, and of course, I've not felt the presence of this Pro Warlord. I mean, he's hit the tower a couple of times, he's gotten the Roche, but he's just not a big threat. He's gone for the Blink Dagger, which...
He still doesn't have the BKB, and the thing is, you mentioned he's not a big threat, like, he has to get a BKB. They have so many ways to deal with them otherwise. The blind from the Night Stalker with Crippling Fear, tons of slow chain stun galore with the Sven, the Lina, not to mention just the Omni Knight constantly nuking you down with the Purification. Like, he's not tanky enough to get away without a BKB, even if it's not a game-winning item.
Without a BKB, I don't think you kill anyone. Not even the Crystal Maiden. Like, Crystal Maiden could just Frostbite and run away.
Hold that thought. Moving in, the boat comes through, Ramsey's BKB, and now the fight. They're fighting around the shrine here. Do they commit forward? They want the Necropose throwing in the Laguna, the Chain Frost to counter. The Torrent's there as well, but Big Daddy Sven in the house, forcing Yo on his heels. He runs back into that red sword of doom. And it seems it's destiny for VP to take this game. One of the first times we've seen a team GG out on the main stage before losing a second lane of ranks. LGD just got walked.
I think Virtus Pro did everything correct. They want that bottom lane. 9Posh got way too much in his lane. Of course, the Lina got the ganks that she needed mid, so she won there as well. Winning every single lane, winning every single engagement.
And they won the VP way. They won playing with incredible confidence, great mid-game teamfight execution, pushing the early advantage as much as possible. So for LGD, like, biggest thing to change, it feels like, gotta have a stronger laning stage for them going into that next game.
I think their draft was fine. It's one of those situations where you had a good game plan, you weren't able to execute it, so the LGD coach, give him a slap on the back, be like, play better.
Maybe you don't even need the coach's input. You can already see Yao putting his arm around his teammates saying, like, guys, we got this. We got to put it back together. Let's calm down. It's a best of 3. We can adapt and bounce back. And this LGD team has done that. One of their most recent results coming into this tournament was a 3-2 victory against LGD FY. So they know how to win a longer series.
Yep. Like you mentioned, coming into the series, can Yao be that man, It used to be Xiao Wei. He used to live in the shadow of Xiao Wei. But now, can he step up and be the leader for his team? He's doing that right now, but let's see if the results will show it.
Well, no better test for him than the one that VP have put him to. They lead the best of 3 1-0. We'll get some more analysis and break it down with the panel. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed. We'll be back with LD in the gang in just a moment. First of all, we try and understand exactly. We ran. I ran. I'm out of breath. I do apologize. But we are certainly somewhere else. If you have just joined us and are unfamiliar, wait, this isn't the panel. Indeed, we are not in the shadows, but we do have the Rasmus. That's an old school music joke.
You're a lot out of breath.
I'm really unfit.
That was like a...
It was quite a run.
That was you running.
That was me at full pace.
That was a slow, like that saunter.
Was you could have seen me. I was like challenging Usain Bolt at that point.
Yeah, maybe we'll race on the way.
So I should probably stop talking so I can catch my breath, but I'm going to start with you, Misery, just because you have to shed some light on this. A game that ends that quickly, that convincingly. Can you try and put into perspective as to how that happens? How does that come to be?
I mean, in the draft, you were even saying that maybe LGD had some degree of an edge.
I think it just this type of lineup that you're facing with Crystal Maiden, Night Stalker, Lina, these type of heroes, they're so fast and